All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the pre-market show with Mike and Peter. We are here ready to talk markets with you guys, and hopefully you guys are ready as well. We have some market movement yesterday as things, they were down, they were up, they were down, they were up, ended up. Anyways, they were up. But while we're paying attention to the markets, some of our team are not quite so focused. Carlos is supposed to be here, and we know the internet is not great over there, but it's not that bad. I think Carlos is just not able to handle going on screen, because I know he's out there having fun. Because, guys, we've got some photos of what's happening over there in Thailand. For those of you that don't know, our team is over in Thailand, or a lot of them are, except for Mike and I. Where's Mike? Mike's here. And he's not happy about it.
That's me. No, I am not.
And I can't really blame him, because where I am looks very similar to that, and I'm not as happy. As opposed to, where's the team? They're here. Yeah, they're sending photos back, and it's not helping. Mike, that looks pretty good, doesn't it?
Yes, that looks awesome.
Yeah.
You know what I see right there? I see December 9th, Dominican Republic. I cannot wait.
Yeah, you're
out of this club.
They are having fun out there. Andrew, of course, got to kiss the elephants. What else do you do when you're in Thailand? He's giving them.
You can't get any life-threatening disease by kissing a elephant.
Anyway, I don't think so. There's Abiel. He's one of the back. He's one of the guys on our team. There's you can see Carlos and Brian and Carlos's wife and Eamon. I guess he's real.
He's not a robot.
I don't know. I mean, again, I still have never met him in person myself. After all these years, Eamon and I have never met in person, and I still regret that. That would be one of the big reasons I wanted to go on this trip. And as a married man, look, there he is. Anyways, yeah. All right. Yeah, so congratulations, Eamon. For those of you that don't know, recently married. Look at that. Some of the team running. They're even going for runs here in the morning. So look at that. And, of course, Brian is filming. Oh, no, and he's being filmed. There's Brian.
There he is. He's being filmed.
Why are you looking so sad, buddy? Come on, man.
What's he looking for?
I have no idea. Anyways, it doesn't matter. They're having fun like this over there in Thailand, and we're just regretful that we're not there. So I just wanted to share those photos with you guys. Apparently, we are up at the big screen. They did the engineering the markets with Jared, and now I'm sure they got us up there. So hello to everybody in Thailand. Send your photos. We love it as much as it gives me tons of Romo, lots of regret, but I still love to see them because you know what? I mean, it's good to see what the team is doing, and those events are really so much fun. As we were saying, though, yesterday, let's get to the markets. Yesterday, we actually had an interesting day in the markets as we had some, let's go back and take a look. As I said, we were sort of started a little flat, and then we're up, and then down, and then up again, and down again. And we ended the day on a high. Today, I think that anything goes, right? Like we said yesterday, never assume the direction the market's going to take just based on what happens pre-market. Today, we are gapping higher a little bit. We're up about 0.4. So it's down a little bit. The SPY is up 0.2%. We're up about 3.5 on the Qs, so moderately higher, but it's really the tail is going to be on whatever the stocks are that you pick, and sometimes you pick the right ones, sometimes you pick the wrong ones, and that's just the way it goes. What we do here in the morning is try and help narrow in on the things that are moving, and they can give you opportunity. So let's do that. Well, actually, you can see the gappers list is starting to fill up, especially with stuff to the top side. We're going to go through those in a minute. Before we do that, we'll just take a look at the economic calendar. There's really not a lot happening out there today. Maybe Mike, you can give us a rundown.
I wish I could, but no. So total vehicle sales coming out, probably not going to move the market all that much. Construction spending as well in September. Not expected to get that, but you never know nowadays as we're trying to recover from it again. Like we talked about yesterday, I don't think anything other than probably the interest rate, the FMOC, is going to have much of an impact on the market. One thing that's not up here that I came across today, was last night there was one of the largest injections into the financial system as quantitative tightening ended, and they basically put 13.5 billion into the financial system to kind of short up, which is larger than what they did during COVID. So very interesting if you think about it.
All right. Sorry. Texting with Carlos. Like you said, we're still catching up on some data here. Construction spending is a latent piece of data, which is why we don't have a forecast on it. Vehicle sales doesn't usually move the market. I'm just like you said, this stuff. The market doesn't seem to care about this stuff anymore. It really just it'll move when it wants to move. It doesn't really matter what the economic data says. I saw David in the chat room. David's talking about JOLTS. I had conflicting data on that. Depending on my source, only one of my three sources said that we had jobs data coming out at 10. So I didn't know whether to include it or not. As we're catching up on the data, there seems to be disparity between your feeds as to what is happening and what's not. So I'm not sure. If we do get the JOLTS is the job data for anybody that doesn't know. Jobs data is one of the few things outside of interest rate changes that can actually move the market. So if that does come out at 10 a.m., then yes, the market will likely react. But it's tough to say until that happens. But it's worth mentioning. So thank you, David, for reminding me of that, because if that data comes out, the market's probably going to, make a little move. The other piece of information that we might want to keep an eye on here is the Fed interest rate decision. That's coming up next week, right? It's not a thing for this week. Next week is when the interest rate decision, December the 10th. So that's a week from, what is today, the 2nd? So it'll be a week from Wednesday?
It'll be Wednesday.
Yeah. So
next week comes out.
And you can see right now, it looks like, the current estimate is that as we sit where we sit at the interest rate right now, the expectation is we're going to get a quarter point cut. Basically 87% certainty that we're going to get a quarter point cut, which means anything other than that will cause a greater market reaction. The market will still react when the interest rate is announced. Usually that happens at 2 o'clock when the data comes out, and then 2:30 the press conference starts when Powell will give his little speech and answer some questions. So that afternoon could be interesting. But again, it's a week from tomorrow. So we got a little time before that happens. Just wanted to point that out to everybody.
One thing interesting, too, is that's kind of shifted towards that over the last couple of weeks. Before, it was kind of just flat that they were going to leave it the same. So,
yeah, very heavily. You're right. The move started a couple of weeks ago where we went from most people thinking we were going to be flat to now a common opinion that it's going to be a reduction. So we'll see. I mean, the Fed doesn't usually worry about public opinion. They'll do what they think is right for the economy. And, whether we agree or not doesn't really matter. So we'll see what happens when it comes out. All right, so let's get to the gappers. As we can see, we got a bunch of stuff on here. Some of it's interesting. A lot of it looks like the chaff, the stuff that we just get here. So
yeah,
we'll go through a few of the stuff on the list and see how they stack up. We'll start with PLRZ, or Z for my American friends. Polyzyron. Polyrizon. Interesting name. Okay. Polyrizon Limited. Okay. Mike, what the heck do these guys do? Why are they on our list? Big volume. Guys, this is churning. 31 million shares, though. This thing's rocking.
They provide nasal spray.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay, right. They announced basically a key manufacturing upscale milestone for their nasal spray platform. So able to produce it better. They're transitioning more to small batch laboratory production so that they can upscale their production. So if you look at them on the chart, as you kind of pulled them up there, right? Be careful with them.
Yeah.
It's your stock that's moved from $4 to $7 after drastically falling off. That chart, I don't think they ever traded at 2,300. That's probably a reverse split that they've done
That's
to sure. That's a lot of money, and I doubt they were trading that high for some nasal spray.
No, you're right. That's probably a bunch of reverse splits here, it looks like. So, yeah, because I was looking at a daily chart on a different screen, and I'm like, that's not what it looks like. But you zoom in, and okay, that looks more like a daily chart that, I can work with.
Yeah.
This thing is just crazy. So, anyways, keep in mind, everybody, this is the $3 stock at the close of the markets yesterday. We're sitting here at $7 this morning. I mean, hey, it looks like fun if you like this. Treat it like a low float. What's the float on this? I didn't look it up, Mike.
Low flow. One sec. I'll grab it real quick. This one, for some reason, my gappers is different from yours.
We might have different settings.
Yeah, we'll have to look at that after the show today. Low float on it is 979,000. So yes, treat it like a low float.
Well, because it is. It's absolutely low float. So be careful with it, guys. Whatever you choose to do, it's one that is not looking great at the moment. Okay. Well, no, it is looking great from a movement. Not great for me because it's not the type of thing I like to trade. But if you like these, then you could be very happy. Just be careful
for
with it. Yeah. All right. The next one I have on my list is CRDO. And by the way, Mike, if we have differences, that would just because I've customized the settings for what I normally look at. It usually, and I notice Carlos is sometimes a little different than what I look at too. Because we've picked slightly different settings. But yeah, we can go and match those up at some point. But for now, I'm going with what I got. So CRDO,
yeah, go with it.
Credo Tech, up 16%, just under 400,000 shares. Why is that?
Yeah, so it actually had earnings, had strong earnings report, beat, and then they issued even stronger guidance for its third quarter. So investors are liking what it's got. Not a lot of volume, though, you would expect for a stock that just released earnings. We're only at 300,000, well, almost 400,000 shares now. So just watch the volume. I would anticipate as the market opens, if it starts to get volume, this could be a trader for you, but without the volume, you're going to have a high spread. You're gonna be looking for liquidity in it. So
oops.
And we're sitting right now at a 55-cent spread on it. So
yeah, and it's come on, I can't get rid of this line here. I like where it sits on the daily chart. Sitting up here just under the 200 mark. It did go over 200. You can see this morning hitting a high of 203.60. So it's not bad. It's just like you said, Mike. The volume's a little low for what ideally I'd like to see on this. So we'll see if it picks up.
It's only traded 400 shares in this last minute. That's like
yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's pretty low. Very gappy here. If I look at a 1 minute chart, that sort of tells me there's not, which is too bad because it's gapping nice. It's at all-time highs. Otherwise, it looks good. So, all right, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe it'll play in. Maybe it will not. All right, BMNR is the next thing I've got on my list. This we've certainly seen quite frequently on our list over the last couple of weeks. Bitmine. They have been here for, I don't know, quite a while, but Bitmine Immersion Technologies trading 2.2 million shares this morning, up about 5%. They've gapped up and down this amount quite a bit in the last little while. Mike, I imagine it's just the usual stuff, or do they have some news?
They actually announced that they are doubling down on Bitcoin, and actually not Bitcoin, but Ethereum, as they did a 70 billion buying spree into it. So
wait, 70 billion?
Yeah, that's what their news report came out.
I'm surprised they have that much money. Okay.
I am too. That's why I even double checked it. I was like, really? Are you sure? Yeah.
Okay.
So they are definitely putting in some money into Bitcoin, but you'll see as we go through this, a lot of our Bitcoin stocks are going to be on there as Bitcoin is moving down today. But ironically, a lot of these investing companies or companies that are investing in Bitcoin are gapping up today. So a few of them are down, but. Most of them are up.
Well, let's take that as an opportunity to hold on here, to take a look at Bitcoin prices. What are they doing this morning? Where are we sitting at on Bitcoin?
87,000 as of 7 a.m., but it's Bitcoin. So what is it doing right now? 87.5. So
yeah, 87,537 right at the moment. So, which is up a little bit from the lows that it had set overnight, down low at around 84,000. Certainly not back up to the 90s where it was last week. So, I guess it's a little better. That's not so great. All right, that's where we sit on that. Here's an interesting Boeing. We don't often see Boeing pre-market. Boeing, despite news, despite whatever happens, it tends to just do its thing. It ignores its own news, which is weird for sort of a stock of this kind. But that's Boeing. It's always been that way. Has it got some good news this morning, Mike? Some new orders?
Actually, its news is off of Airbus, and I'm pulling it up. Boeing says to complete a Spirit purchase this year. There was also, the CFO says that their deliverables for the 737, 787 are up from what they predicted for 2025. And the 737 MAX 10 has been certified in late 2026, they're expecting. So some good news from BA. I also saw, I got to check FinViz again, but I thought I saw something on Airbus. Airbus got a recall, so that might have something yesterday. That might have some impact on Boeing as well. You know, when your competitor is facing a recall, it's always good, right? For you.
Well, let's get Boeing on the list maybe here to watch.
Boeing is moving nicely. This is a stock that I typically just look at briefly every morning, just to see kind of how it's doing. I mean, it's got 400,000 shares, which is significantly more than it typically trades in pre-market. It's usually down at the 10, 15,000. And if you look at the 1 minute chart, you can see shares are flowing through it. It is moving up nicely. So they do like that news. So I would definitely keep an eye on Boeing today.
All right. Well, I'll put it on the list. We can set some levels. It's not my favorite stock to trade. I've got a few of these that, for whatever reason, just don't agree with me. I cannot seem to figure out how to trade them. Boeing and Walmart, Target and Lowe's, those are all on my list of, I'll watch them sometimes, but for whatever reason, they don't like me.
I like Boeing when there is news on Boeing, because Boeing can move, right? But you're right. Like the Lowe's and the Walmarts and the Targets, like you got to have the right volume set up to be able to trade them.
In the chat room, 112 is saying that they also won a U.S. Navy contract worth $104 million. I assume you're talking about Boeing and stating that $104 million for the Navy. Isn't that like a couple of ashtrays?
That's not even an F-35.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you don't get much for $104 million. That's maybe an upgrade to the seat cushions on on a fighter jet or something. It's an anchor. Yeah, you're not getting much for $100 million. Anyways, all right, all right. Yeah, two rounds of ammunition. One hand-painted bomb. Anyways, all right, whatever you got. Okay, so, that's Boeing. Let's go back and take a look at the gappers list. We got a few of those things that sit in the cryptocurrency space that we already talked about. ClearSpark, Mara. How about Marvell? Did they have earnings? I think they had earnings after the close yesterday. Am I right on that? Or
Marvell. I was driving in the snow after the close, Peter, so I'm really not sure after the close, but I'm pulling them up because they just populated onto mine as well.
Yeah, relatively low volume, 300,000 shares, up 2.5%. So they just made our list. I don't love the pre-market action I'm seeing. It looks a little spotty here, but they're on the list. I think.
Yeah, I don't see anything about their earnings. Even
people are saying it's today after the close. All right, so
yeah,
that would make sense. Let me check tradingterminal.com. Go into the calendar and the earnings calendar here, and it should tell me. And
they are not a stock that I typically pay any attention to.
yeah, it is. You guys are right.
Yep.
It is after the close. CrowdStrike and Marvell are the two big ones. OKTA also has earnings. So we got a few things. Yeah, no real earnings this morning, by the way. I did check that earlier. Nothing we normally look at. So, all right. Okay, so Marvell, maybe they're just moving in advance of the earnings. What else have we got on this list? I was noticing... Oh, Warner Brothers was on the list, but it seems to have dropped off.
The other one that I know we have traders that trade is Circle.
Yeah, so I was just about to
CRCL
go there.
Is there. Their news is really that Daniel Krebs initiated coverage on their stock as he thinks it's overrated. So he thinks they're going to underperform, and so he's getting rid of his holdings in it.
Yeah. The and Philippe from Belgium is asking what the popcorn symbol means. Absolutely, we use that just to indicate stocks on my watch list that I'll just watch for the fun of it because I know some people do. It's not the type of stock I would typically trade. This PLRZ has, like we said, 36 million shares traded now, but it's like it's a $3 stock, right? That's jumped up to $7. They're just high risk. They're high risk. They're not stuff that I have a good process for managing my risk to reward on it. But some people trade these very effectively. I mean, from the last time we talked about it to now, it's gone up 75 cents, which is another 10%. So that's 10% from its current price. That would be 30% from its close price. So, but yeah, we just put it on there so that I'll set some levels, but it's not something I seriously would be considering trading. But there's others that have great strategies, just not us. Okay? So yeah, but thanks for asking. Yep. It's a good question. All right, so let's go back to our list that we're looking at. I think, Mike, that's pretty much everything I've got on the gap up that I want to focus on. Anything gapping up that... Okay, so have you got anything off the list that you think might be worth talking about?
I am going to keep an eye on Apple. I mean, Apple made a new all-time high yesterday, and it has managed to hold that level. So I'm going to want to see what it does. It's very choppy right now in the pre-market, going up and down and kind of where it's going. But it held its all-time high. So I want to see if we're going to get a continuation today, or if we're going to kind of have a possible pullback off this all-time high. So I'll keep an eye on Apple for that. NVDA has 3 million shares, as well as Google has 1.5 million shares. They're not really doing much, but they are where the volume is in Mag 7, which all of Mag 7 are gapping up, plus AMD. So we'll add plus AMD. But
there you go. I was looking at that. I noticed that all the makes sense. Well, except for Apple, it's just slightly red. But as you said, hit all time highs yesterday on Apple, and that was some interesting trading into the close. Actually, Apple was just running and gunning. It was just moving. A lot of that move happened in the late afternoon as it took off. So yeah, probably worth keeping an eye on to see what it does. Like you mentioned, volume in Google, NVIDIA typically gets volume here at this time of day. I like where it sits on a daily chart. You can see it's above yesterday's close, so we're moving a little bit higher. And we can't forget about our good buddy Tesla, which I don't know. Yesterday was a tough trade on Tesla. At the open, it got an interesting move. I know a couple of people are watching that. Let's go back and take a look. For those of you that were, it got sort of the spike right at the open that gave some interesting trading opportunities if you're sort of a very sort of open-based high opening range break trader. I am not, so I didn't take it. But yeah, it sort of got this move. I know a bunch of people took it, came back down pretty aggressively, but then made another push higher. So really quite interesting, in my opinion, on Tesla. So why do the charts do this sometimes? It will not go where you want them to. All right, anyways.
Sometimes. Don't you hate when that happens? They just
it won't go to thing. it won't go to the top of the screen. I don't understand. Anyways, um, yeah, Tesla, anyways, was an interesting trade yesterday and worth keeping on the list today. So as you can see, I usually have NVIDIA, Tesla, and AMD on my list. Maybe we'll let's throw Apple on that list. Why not? As you said, Mike, with that all-time high having hit yesterday, it might do something interesting. So we'll get it on there, and we can keep an eye on it. Okay, let's go to the gap down list and see what's happening there. Only three things on that list right now, at least on my list. So that makes it relatively easy. Let's look at the top one. This Janux Therapeutics. Down 41%, 560,000 shares. Well, as Carlos would say, who's getting fired, Mike?
Yeah, somebody's getting fired, right? Especially since they just had a positive results on their cancer drug for prostate cancer. But while they had positive reports there, they also updated their interim data on that drug for the company. So I think the updated information that they produced and put out is having a negative impact on the company. So I don't think investors were liking that.
Well, clearly not. I mean, look.
You got to be like, hey, our drug's working, but oh, by the way, it's not working as great, and there may be some more possible side effects or something that was not disclosed earlier that got disclosed that investors are like, oh, okay, you didn't tell me about this. I want my money back.
Yeah, indeed. So, and I keep forgetting to hit the buttons to get us onto the right screen here. Anyways, yes, look where it's gapping down on the daily. So we had all of this range where it consolidated pretty much all of this year, all of 2025, and now it's gapping below that. Under the 22 used to be sort of the low limit here. Now we're down under 20. So this might be interesting. The volume's a little lower than ideally I'd like to see. This might be a tough one. These biotechs can be tough. At the open, I might look for, it depends on what it does as we get closer towards the open here in half an hour, but it might be one of my rising devil type trades, right, where we can get a pop higher and then a continued sell-off. But yeah, it's looking pretty weak.
Just remember that you're going to be on short selling restriction when the stock opens up because you're down 42%. So the fills are not going to be as good as they probably normally are.
That's true. It's shortable at the moment, but you're right. That might come in. So we'll take a look. Something that just jumped on the list here: BKV. I've never heard of this company. BKV Corporation down 7%. I think it just got enough volume to hit our list, which is why it's here. 279,000. I can't imagine this is going to be doing anything remotely interesting, but maybe on a daily chart here. You can see that yesterday it actually had a good day. Looking at, did it set all-time highs yesterday? Is this just a pullback from, maybe it was. I don't know this company, so I don't know what they do or anything.
BKV, so just pulled it up on Trading Terminal. It looks like they announced a pricing of its 156 million offering of 6 million shares at $26. So where's this price at? There we go. Price at 26. So had an offering of 6 million shares. So that can definitely do it.
Well,
so
that'll do it.
When you give an offering at a specific price point.
Yeah.
So definitely not a stock that I will be looking to trade today.
Okay.
Oh, Peter's got important news coming.
What? No, I just trying to shut things down here. I'm getting a little bit of stutter on your connection. I know that this is the problem with running the show. My computer goes to 100% CPU utilization, or between the CPU and the GPU, it sort of maxes out. So that's I got to start shutting things down.
That's never good.
Never good. Never good. All right. But yeah, BKV, it looks like it was at all-time high just yesterday, and they took advantage of that to put out the secondary offering. So unfortunately, secondaries are not usually good tradable news. So we'll probably just move off of that. Here's one that I haven't seen for a while. XPEV. We used to watch this and a lot of the Chinese EV stocks for a while. XPEV and NEO and what were the other ones that we had on the list? LI and we kept an eye on those, but lately they really have not traded well. It's down 4%. Sometimes it just pops up here. It just gets enough volume and movement to be on the list. I
mean, if you look at the 1 minute, it's ugly.
Yeah,
it's the best thing.
Yeah, look at that.
Really, the news is that these Chinese electric vehicle makers are predicting a big December. Because if they don't get the big December, they're not going to hit their 2025 goals for production. So that's why we kind of are on the gap down. Anytime you come out and you're like, yes, we're going to have a big December. We're going to hit our goals that we have not hit yet. Investors get a little wary of that. Like, are you sure? I don't quite believe you.
Yeah, sounds like a little bit of a Hail Mary there, but it doesn't look tradable, so we'll move on from it. Next on our gap down list here, you can see we only have two things left here. First is IREN. That comes up quite a bit recently. IREN is gapping down about 4.5%. Good volume, 2.6 million shares. Still doesn't look like it's trading great. The volume's decent, but the trading looks very sort of like computers are trading. It doesn't look like there's a lot of human engagement. Mike, I've seen this so many times where it's often just gapping without news. So
it does have news, but it's one of those news things that we don't really like so much. So they're just giving out a direct offering of 100 billion shares for 2032 and 2033 expiries. So nothing that's going to be tradable. Not a news catalyst that you want to be like, ooh, put this on my watch list. It's going to drive this stock.
Exactly. All right, we'll move on from it. The last one on our list is Signet Jewelers. They only pop up at earnings time, and I know that they had earnings. They're the only one that I thought maybe might have some possibility this morning. That being said, guys, I've watched Signet for years, again, only on earnings day, and it's never yet given me good trading at the open. I have traded it, and I've regretted it every time. But this morning, it looks like they didn't do so well on their earnings, Mike.
Well, they beat revenue and beat earnings per share estimates. So, but hey, just because you beat some doesn't mean that's what the analysts were expecting. So, it looks like they did not beat them the way they wanted to. They even raised guidance for FY 2026. But not something people are interested in. You look at the 1 minute chart, and I would stay as far away from this as possible. I would not bring this onto my watch list.
Yeah, it's looking a little tough. I like where it sits on the daily chart, I have to admit. But as you said, that 1 minute volume is tough. This is also a NYSE stock. I know I haven't talked about that in the last few days. You got to keep in mind, you got to watch which market it trades off of. So New York Stock Exchange stocks trade a little bit differently than NASDAQ. NASDAQ, when the opening bell rings, usually the volume comes in right away and you can sort of just get to it on trading. NYSE stocks, you've got to wait for the volume. I always recommend that to people, just because the initial moves before volume hits could be very different than where it goes after the volume. You'll know when it happens. You'll see the big volume candle. You'll see the stock start to move a little more aggressively. Sometimes it happens right at 9:30, but often it'll be a minute or two later, just because of the way the market makers manage the inventory and manage the stock. So keep that in mind if you're thinking of trading Signet. I'm tempted to put it on my list just because of that daily chart and the news, but it just doesn't look good. All right. Well, I'll wait and see if we got something better going on. As is being pointed out by Simmer in the chat room, yeah, the spread is also really high, sitting at $1.30. That doesn't worry me too much pre-market because you're going to get a big spread when you get low volume like this pre-market. But yeah, you know what? It's probably not going to turn itself around once that opening bell rings. So, all right. So that's it. That covers everything that we had on our targeted gappers list. Mike, anything else that you've got that you think we should be taking a look at that's gapping down?
Nope. Apple is what I'm going to be having on my screen, and
Right.
then the video will be off to the side for me. Those are my two big ones today.
Sounds good. How about you guys in the chat room or out there on YouTube? By the way, if you're listening to us on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. It really helps with the growth of the channel and makes us feel all warm and tingly. So we appreciate that. You can do that. The gap down list deserves a garbage truck. Just because you're asking for it, you get it. Here you go.
I definitely think so. That one.
We've still got Carlos driving the garbage truck. I don't have a logo for Mike with his face on the truck. So, all right. Yeah. So, what are you guys looking at? General Jim is looking at RGTI. RGTI. Let's take a look at that. Gapping up about 2.6%, up 600,000 shares or 580. Yeah, it doesn't look like it's doing anything especially notable. If I look at the daily, it's sort of stuck in this range here. It really has got to get up over, about $27, I think, to get really interesting, or gap down under 23 for it to start to be heavily in play. The pre-market doesn't look that bad. So yeah, maybe General Jim, you can let us know if it moves, and we can put an eye to it. Harvey, you're pointing out. What's the news on Intel and Oracle, or at least you're asking the question. Yeah, Intel, look at that, 7.7 million shares this morning. Not gapping up a lot, so not enough to make our list because it's only up 1.6%. But I see why you might be wondering that. I'll let Mike see if he's able to find.
Looks like they made a deal with Apple.
Oh, both of them? Or is this...
As while noting... Well, nothing is official, so we're getting coffee news at the scuttlebutt around the water fountain, right? Maybe on track to win an Apple bid next year. So, got to put that out. There's nothing official, but hey, you want to get your stock price up? Mention that you're going to make a deal with a stock that's at all-time highs, right? Yeah, let's go.
Your only risk is that NVIDIA comes out and says we deny the rumor. But anyways, yeah. So Oracle not looking quite as active. Only 600,000 shares, up just over 2% at the moment here. But yeah, Intel certainly getting some volume this morning. So if you're watching. Intel, I have always struggled. Intel is even worse than Micron to trade, and I don't like Micron. So, whatever. if you want to watch it, by all means, just know that it could be difficult. Intel, you typically trade for pennies. Like, it's not one that you're likely to get a whole dollar move on. A 30-40 cent move can often be good on this thing. But if you do get a bigger one, so be it. Just manage your risk accordingly. So, Intel is a tough trader, in my opinion. All right, so what about out on YouTube? What are you guys looking at? Intel, pre-market meditation is also mentioning that. Valvad, you're mentioning BE. I did skip over that. That was on the gap up list. This is Bloom Energy. We see it occasionally. It never is much fun. I see it's up about 2.7%, 600,000 shares. So it was in the gap up, and I have to admit, I sort of ignored it. Again,
no
love
news
it this morning.
on it.
Yeah,
there's no news really on it. I think it's just moving with the market.
Right. So there you go. Okay. What else are you guys talking about? MDB, is that I'm not MongoDB. Oh, they had did they have earnings yesterday? Why were we looking at that? They're up 23%. Look at this gap on the daily. Look at this thing. Up $404 right now, and it closed yesterday at $328. So I got to assume that this was earnings.
Yes, it did have earnings.
Yeah. That makes sense. Really low volume though. I mean, it's up 23%, which looks awesome. And I can see here, let's go to a 5-inch. You can see when most of this move happened and all the volume happened, right? Right after the close yesterday. So here's where the big push happened. We got another little one about an hour later as it pushed higher. So now it's just sort of trending sideways. Tough to say whether this is going to be in play. I mean, I love the move here. I love the gap higher. Does this make it an all-time high? No, it doesn't. Okay, so it was a lot higher than this back last year. So yeah, we've got some levels we could set to the top side. Tough to say right now. Like, it doesn't look as active as I would ideally want at only 250,000 shares traded. That's pretty low for something gapping up 23%. So maybe a buyer bear. What's its average? See, its average daily volume. You guys can see this on my chart. This little number, I don't know if you can see this way down in the corner here. 1.6 million is what it trades on average on a daily basis. So that's a warning sign to me there that. Yeah, it'll be tough to. The problem is you want to always have liquidity in it, right? So that someone's always willing to take the other side of your trade, and you don't end up stuck with either a big spread or just with no fills. I don't know. It looks interesting enough that maybe we can put it on the list here, and I'll set some levels for you guys. But it's probably not something I'm going to be trading at this point. So here it goes onto the list. Okay, what else are you guys looking at? We'll take maybe one or two more.
9:12, so probably good to hit
I'll just check and see here. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. A couple of you were mentioning PLTR. It's always a constant friend. 800,000 shares up 1.5%. So yeah, nothing special going on in PLTR this morning, but yeah, it can often be in play if you like it. All right, like Mike says, I think it's time to get to some of our announcements for today. So why don't we do that? We'll show you what we've got happening in the bear bull trading community on this Tuesday. Mike, take it away.
Yeah, so this evening strategy webinar is going to be around presented by Jared. He's going to be talking about market profile trading, steps for the pre-market preparation. So if you're wondering how to build a watch list and then build a plan and then execute the plan, that's what Jared's going to be talking about this week. Next week is a more, I would say, targeted webinar towards our U.S. traders. As we approach the end of the year, we're bringing in a day trading taxes company to come and kind of talk to you about the different tax structure as a trader that you can have, whether you want to trade as a sole proprietor, whether you want to trade under a limited liability company, or you want to trade as an S Corp. And Dave Long and McKenna, highly recommend, if you're interested about taxes or have questions about taxes, you come check this company out. They are actually the company that I moved to. So full disclosure, and I've been working with them for about the last month since my last accountant I fired for being rude. So
you don't say.
Yeah, fired him, got rid of him. But been working with them, and it's been phenomenal. They even called me initially, meaning I asked a question in an email and they called me on my cell phone. I was like, wow, an account that calls you, that's a miracle.
Wow. And then, I got one of these. I got to get one of these with Mike's face on it. Look at that. He's going on a rant. I like it. All right.
I will go on a rant about that. My last account, just come to the afternoon show and I'll tell you all about them. But anyways, in today's session at 11 a.m., we got Phil that's going to be doing small account options trading. So if you're trading with options in a small account, he'll have a good discussion with you there. If you are a new member that is signed up with the Black Friday deal and gotten yourself a boot camp along with a Dash Trader Pro funded trading account when you come to boot camp, if you are unfamiliar with that, go check out Brendan's course. He works over at P Capital Trading with us with the Dash Trader Pro. He is your point of contact if you have any questions on how you set it up, how you work it, any type of hotkeys. He's the one. So this is your time. Go over there at Tuesday at noon today with him.
Sorry, Mike.
Computer's gonna change.
Busy choking there. All right,
I know.
here we go.
And then we still have our Cyber Monday deal. So you got that.
We switched over from the Black Friday to the Cyber Monday deal now.
I know, switched over from the Black Friday to the Monday. This includes your 13-week boot camp. Highly encourage you, if you got a strategy, to come check that out. It includes a funded account. And then you also have a deal where you can sign up for a elite membership and get a trading terminal funded trading account. Know that you must have a trading terminal premium account for that. So, and then we still have our Thanksgiving offer there, which is nice. So
there you go.
You get your elite membership for $1,000.
Awesome. Okay. With that, why don't I set some levels, and then if our mods can get their lists in, those that are sitting in Thailand, and of course those that, like us, that are back in the home office keeping things going, we will ask for you to get your listen, and we'll set some levels here. Let me see. What did I have on my list? I'm going to start with the stuff here on my secondary list because it's probably the more interesting stuff. My primary list are the things that I just like to watch every day. NVIDIA, Tesla, and AMD. Those levels haven't changed. We talked about them yesterday. You know, they're ones that'll set. I'll go over them quickly if we have a second. But let's start with Apple at all-time highs, which means we don't really have a lot of levels. If I go to a 60-minute chart, you can sort of see how this range here certainly is one that we want to keep an eye on. And I've got the high and low of the pre-market marked here because this sets an interesting level, basically from 282 up to about 283.50. This is the range that the thing's traded in so far this morning, and that is well above any other trading area that we've had. So I think we've got to watch that. Obviously, the close yesterday, which was 283.10, is an area that you're going to want to keep an eye on as well. And we'll see. Right now, we're sitting just below that, about 50 cents below that at 282.60. So Apple is interesting. It's for me, Apple's a hit or miss as to whether it actually moves right at the open. But I like it for a little bit later in the morning because you can get some good moves on it. Again, don't try and presume you know where it's going. Apple's a little tricky, but I said it can give you some good moves, good risk to reward if you play it smart and you're patient. All right, the next one we had on our list is Boeing, which, as I mentioned, not one of my favorites, but I understand that people like to trade it. Boeing is gapping up this morning. We're sitting here at 197.80, which is about $10, $11 over the close from yesterday. And if I look at the daily chart, this puts us in an interesting range here. You can see the high of pre-market. It was up at 199.40. That's automatically marked on my chart. I'm going to keep an eye on that because I think that that obviously is an area. Plus, like I always mention, the whole dollar number, the 200 is a big number, right? So you got to watch that. It's probably going to test it, I'm sure, if you go look at the level 2 or the Atlas in Trading Terminal, you're going to see a whole bunch of orders sitting at 200. If they're not there now, they will be after the open. I can almost guarantee you. That being said, there's an interesting gap sitting up here. I don't know that we're going to get as high as 210, but if we do, got to be ready for that because it is 210 is an area where it provided resistance, or both resistance to the top side and then support when it was above it or back in September, October. So it'll be interesting if it has a run higher. That would be an area I'd definitely be keeping an eye on. Other than that, to the downside, we of course have the highs and lows of the previous 2 days, which are well below the current price. And then we've got this consolidation area you can see back at the beginning of November. So I might want to keep an eye on that. I probably would put a level right around here at 193.25 or so, just to see what's going to happen. So whoops, and I did that in the wrong color. So let's get rid of that one. Let's put it in here.
Hello.
Yes. All right, there we go. So that will give me an eye to it. In fact, I actually want that a little higher. Let me just modify that. So I'm going to put it at 193.30 because I want a little bit of advance notice if it gets down there. Okay. So there's my levels on Boeing. The other one that we said that we'll maybe put an eye to is MongoDB. Again, this feels like a wild card. It's sort of a long shot. Great gap up. I love where it's sitting here. Really, I mean, obviously to the downside, well, this spike here, 185.44, we gotta put a level on that. Whoops. Here we go, 185.44. I'll get that right dialed in there. Because if we move, well, I mean, that would be a big move down. But if we do, then this will definitely be an area to expect it to bounce. To the top side, well, as we looked earlier, we've got to go back a little ways here on the chart. But it's definitely been in this range. But we've got to go back to 2023-24 to find some levels. I noticed that I actually have a level already marked here from earlier at 415.45. That makes sense to me. Look at how many times we used that as resistance to the top side and a little bit of support when it was over that. So that area is probably good. It's tough to tell how accurate or relevant these levels are going to be, because as soon as you start going back a couple of years, they become less salient because you don't know whether the people that bought or sold at that point are still actively in the stock. But I'm going to put another level up here, 424.50 in case we really get a run here and go higher. So MongoDB, probably those are the big levels I'm going to watch. I'm not going to dial it in too much because I think this is going to move. You know, if it's going to move in a way that I'd want to trade, I'd be expecting big moves, multi-dollar moves, especially for a $400 stock. So we'll see if that gives it to us. And this other one, this PLRZ, Polyrizon, making their nasal sprays out there, up here, 126%. Look, they're just well above the current price. However, it's interesting that we are in a range that they've traded before. You can see that they hit exactly $8 as a pre-market high, so that number is relevant and something you're going to want to keep an eye on. And okay, of course, I can't zoom back too far in the daily chart, or it just goes all flat, right? Because of that those previous levels. So I would think if we're going to move down here, there's a couple of interesting areas where it looks like it got some support. Probably around here at $6. Whoops, $6.30. I'll put it at $6.37. And then another one a little bit lower here, because earlier August, September, it was down here just under $6. So I think that, you know, we'll see what happens. This is one that's going to be moving more modestly. If it gets down below those levels, which, by the way, if I zoom right in here, are just below the VWAP, it could very easily push through that right at the open for all I know, right? Which would mean that the sort of the fun would be over. And as Mike pointed out, it is now hard to borrow. So this thing means that you cannot short it. It's at least on my platform, it is only available for long trades. So you got to keep an eye on that to make sure you know which direction you're able to trade it. That hard to borrow, by the way. If you look at a level 2 on your chart, let me just pop this out. I'm going to show you. This is what my level 2 looks like. And when you see that, it's up here, right? You see the market it's trading on. This is the NASDAQ. It's because it says Q. And the HTB, if you click on that, it'll give you some detail here, and it tells you this is not shortable, right? And it's only marginable by default. Anyways, means it's not shortable at this point in time. So that's what I take a look at, just so I know the status, and it's a good thing to keep in mind so that you don't think you're going to be able to take a short on it and then wonder why it's not working. All right, so those are the key ones. The other ones that we talked about, like I said, NVIDIA, Tesla, and AMD, of which I think NVIDIA is probably the most interesting this morning, trading with about 4.5 million shares. Looks good pre-market, as it usually does. If I look at a daily chart, guys, we talked about this yesterday, I've got a whole bunch of levels scattered here around it, right? To the downside, I've got 176.36, 179.68. Those both are levels that I've got marked to the lower side. To the top side, I've got 183.40 and 184.50. So I think I'm well positioned here. If this thing moves, I'll have my levels, right? It'll sort of give me some indication. It looks like, yeah, we'll probably play within all those levels I've marked. So you're just going to have to watch what it does with relation to the pre-market activity. So we'll see where it goes. This brings us, guys, to about 5 minutes before the market open, which means we're going to hand it over to the chat room in just a second. Before we do that, why don't we take a look at what our moderators are watching? Look at that. There's my 5-minute alarm. Mike, maybe you can just tell everybody what the mods are looking at. I'll put it up on the screen.
Yeah, so Andrew's going to be watching NVIDIA, Tesla, and PLTR. He doesn't have very many screens, but we'll double check that here in a sec. Nathan will be watching Futures, Mag 7, and AMD. And then Andrew is now adding MSTR, Rigetti, and QBTS. So back to the 6 stocks he typically watches. Paris is going to be watching NVIDIA, Google, Apple, Tesla, and Intel. Jared is going to be into that Bitcoin again, MSTR coin, secondary AMD, PLTR, also adding Tesla. I will be watching Apple, NVIDIA at the open specifically, and then waiting for what hits my scanners. Brian will be watching NVIDIA, Tesla, Apple, MSTR, the SPYs, and Q. Megan, NVIDIA, AMD, Amazon, and Phil will be Google, NVIDIA, SPY, and Amazon. So
Okay.
a lot of the same stocks.
Yes, indeed, and that makes sense, right? On a day like today, we're going to stick to the things that we know work and that are active. So, okay, guys, about 3.5 minutes to the market open. For all of those who are going to be trading live with our traders in Thailand in the chat room, have some fun. It should be another good trading day. Hopefully, you guys aren't feeling too. I guess you wouldn't be hungover now because it's evening, so you're probably just getting ready to. You probably have a drink in hand. Does anybody have a drink in hand? I see Brian. He's on the screen there. Does he have a drink in hand?
There.
Is he?
Tequila.
Well, he's got a coffee cup. That doesn't seem right. he's detoxing before he gets on it again.
They're on a wellness retreat, Peter. Why are you trying to make them drink? They're yogi or doing yoga. They're stretching. They're meditating. Massages.
All right.
Peter's like, I want the party.
My definition of wellness is whiskey. Whiskey and wellness, they go together. So I guess it's not everybody's. All right, we'll let you guys go in the chat room. We'll keep going here on YouTube. Thanks, everybody. Okay, Mike, we'll keep going.
I'm going to share a screen real quick for you so that way you have...
Let's see. Yeah.
That way you have a screen of mine to share in case...
Okay.
Let me get that put up over here, and then I'll share the screen for you. I didn't want to do it while we were...
No, it's okay.
Right in the middle. So, get this for you. Somewhere around here. 7. Man, I like that, Zoom. Thanks for telling me.
Okay.
Should be nice and clean.
7. I've got to cut your audio there. Let's see. Where's your screen? There it is.
Go there. Let me take off one thing off this because I don't want you guys to have. I forgot to do that this morning. Well, some of my settings are kind of weird since I updated.
All right, so camera.
That'll be good. There we go. Nice and clean screen for you all. Now, since I got my DAS updated, I'm so happy I actually get a trade today. Oh, I am so glad I looked at that. Ooh, that would have been bad.
There we go. Now I can get your screen in there if we need it. So that's good. And
I'm
okay,
so
guys.
Glad I looked at my montage, Peter.
What was that?
It was set to sim.
Okay.
You know the order template.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't want that. All right, so let's.
Don't want that. All right, we are good. NASDAQ and NYSE both onto the actual account now. See, that's what happens when you change accounts. So
20 seconds to the market open. I don't know what to trade here. This Janks that we were looking at
Apple
for the gap down
popped to the all-time high and then pulled back off of it a minute before the market. So
interesting. This Janks is selling off. I remember I said I was looking for a move up to the VWAP. The opening bell just rang. We'll see if I get a pop higher. Oh, see, it might have popped too quickly. I'm not going to chase this thing. Yeah, I don't want to get caught in a big reversal, but looks like Jenks is off to the races without me.
Man, Apple's going to go to 285. Wonder if it's got enough orders, if it accumulated enough to get up there.
Well, let's take a look at Apple. See, yeah, like Mike's saying, Apple is moving higher here. So in the initial moments of this day.
Buy's moving down. Apple's got a huge order on Atlas at 285. Almost 200,000 shares sitting up there.
MongoDB made a move down to 400. So remember we said you got to worry about those whole dollar numbers. They're very strong, but the volume's still a little low on it. So it's moving around quite a bit. Look at it, up at 410 now. Yikes. If you're willing to take the risk, you got some movement here on MongoDB. Apple, like Mike pointed out, at all-time highs, and it's pushing here. So we've got NVIDIA that is popping up as well. Good little move higher on NVIDIA. I know that Andrew is trading NVIDIA, so he's got a decent move on that.
I'd like a nice pullback to the previous day close before running up to 285 on Apple. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, I'm looking for this because it's struggling right around here, around 284. It's not pushing.
You're looking at Amazon though? Oh no, that's just what's on your screen.
Apple. Oh, sorry.
Okay, that's okay. I got Apple on my screen. We can show it here.
I got a link. There we go. Link the right one. I want to see this come down maybe to the pre-market high or the previous day close. Test that and then push back up, and then take an entry around 284 possibly.
TLTR, for those guys that are watching, that is moving higher. It's getting an interesting move here as well.
Apple hit my scanner as well on a pullback, so I like that. We're down to the previous day close. VWAP.
Yeah.
Now let's see if we hold previous day close and then start to get a push up.
No. This is Mike calling this trade. See if it, like you said, if it does get some support here. We're only 19 seconds into this minute. See if it holds. Not my typical type of trade, but we got
I like the orders that are up at 285, but when it couldn't push all the way there to begin with, I needed it a pullback. See, I don't like how it's not holding previous day close right now. So,
right. It doesn't look good for a run higher.
It's got to go find more shares to get up to fill those 285. NVIDIA is pushing higher right now.
I was just gonna say, yeah, watching it, it's running higher. Andrew jumped into NVIDIA in a minute in, and he's loving life as that's moving higher for him. He's just always so good on that.
Yeah, NVIDIA, nice.
We have
185.
I want to say congratulations. We have one of our winner here of the Thailand Trio giveaway.
Ooh.
Look at this. It's Mad Props.
Nice.
That's Mad Props from the chat room. We see him all the time. Looks that got himself to Thailand on the giveaway, so that's pretty awesome. It's look at these guys. I'm just so jealous right now. Every time I see one of these pictures. Anyways. Mike, it's unusual for us not to be there, isn't it?
Oh, it is so unusual.
I'm missing it. I so love those trips. It's really tough to be sitting at home while those guys are.
It's terrible to be sitting home, but yes.
Yeah,
Especially when I'm sitting in the snow and I'm like, I could be in Thailand right now. Why am I not in Thailand right now? Why
now you got to
pop in Thailand?
You got to move up here on Apple. Was that something that you jumped in on, or?
Nope, I'm not jumping in on it because I don't like. Right now, I'm waiting for the volume. Again, it's hitting this 284 and it's struggling at 284.
Okay.
So.
All right.
We tried to get it the first time, got up to 284, 25-ish, sold off heavily. We'll back up to it. I do like the volume though going into this. So if we can get a nice push above 284, we might jump into this. SPY is moving up as well.
Yeah. The markets overall are moving up. MSTR, I see a couple of you mentioning. It's made a move, a little more modest than some other things, but it's a move higher. And as you can see, like I said, the SPY and the Qs, which we watch here, are both moving higher. The Qs a little more aggressively. That tells me the tech is maybe making a little bit of a move back here.
In Apple. I'm going to take a partial here at 284.50.
Okay.
Move stop to break even, just because if you notice I have that big red line there, that's a level that I marked during the pre-market. That is a big seller. So a few days back, if you look at the, I'll move it on to this actually. Where is it? The 30-minute? Why doesn't that? Maybe the date. I had that marked for some reason up there. Maybe I just randomly put it there by accident. There was a reason. I thought it was a high-a-day marker or something. At some point I had that.
Whatever reason, it was there, and it gave you the confidence to take the trade. So that's interesting. Wow, look at NVIDIA.
There's the mark. See, I knew there was a mark on there. Back at the end of October, Apple was up in this area and then sold off heavily off of it. So,
okay. There you go.
So we were there. See, I knew I just don't randomly place stuff.
There had to be a reason. Look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA is really just still gunning here this morning. And, we're just watching here. We live in his shadow. You can see this is Andrew's trade. Let me bring this into a screen so you guys can see it here in the chat room. You can see Andrew got in. I said open a couple of minutes. He's been down at 182. He's been partialing all the way up here. What a just baller move. Andrew, man, he's always doing it. So there you go. That's what's happening in the chat room as he trades live for everybody out in
I got out at a new 1 minute low, not a great fill, but would have been out at break even anyways. Again, there's that level that Apple, look at that sell off that level that I had marked. Look at that. Oh, let me pull it up on a 1 minute chart for you all over here. Look at that sell off.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, you got out at the right time, Mike, because it certainly pushed quickly lower. So.
And for everybody out on YouTube, this is the importance, especially if you are a high-a-day trader, right? I'm like John. John was here yesterday. He's a high-a-day trader. I'm a high-a-day trader. We traded a little bit differently in how we kind of get into trades and manage the trades. But I have a plan, right? And my plan is I want to see this thing break the high of day and I want to see it push. And if it doesn't push, then I get back out of it. And I have no problem getting back into the trade if I can get another setup for it. And you have to be willing as a break of high of day trader to take small partials and get out at break even or take break even trades, because otherwise you may get hammered with large losses when it pulls back heavily like this. So Have a plan. It is very, very important. Have a plan, trade the plan, evaluate the plan, and see how it works from there.
Plan the trade and trade the plan, as they say. Indeed. So, sort of like the Jenks was the one that I was watching at the Open, and it didn't follow my plan. So I stuck to my plan because I was looking for a move higher, and then a sell off. It didn't really move higher like I was expecting, at least not to the levels I was looking for. I was looking for a minimum of the $19 or the VWAP. It did pop, but this was like very quick, like first 2 seconds of the Open, right, is when it went to that level. So there really wasn't much opportunity. It was really down at 18. I said I wasn't going to chase it. It did move $1 lower, but I'm okay not being in that because it's not, it said it didn't follow the sort of the pattern that I was looking for, and therefore I stayed out. I give credit to Mike on his Apple trade. As you can see, he's got that trade here this morning. Oops. Yeah, there we go. He's got the trade this morning where he was trading Apple and got in. It moved higher.
Back up.
And then when he didn't see the signal he was looking for, he stuck to his rules and he got out. The whole trade lasted maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes max. So that's what, sometimes that's what happens. That's okay. So.
And I would have taken a full loss here because this is where my stop would have been, right around this area. So, yeah.
So,
it would have been. And, so MVP, this is Dash Trader Pro is the platform Peter and I are using. Is a question over there.
Indeed. And Richard D, as you say, yeah, it does allow you to be much calmer into your trades when you have a strategy because you know what you're looking for, you know what you're looking to do. That's one of the big things we teach, especially at the Peak Capital Boot Camp. We've got another boot camp that'll be starting in 2026, right in the first week of January. We kick off with another camp. The current group is just finishing they're made their way through boot camp. It's pretty intensive, but the whole point of it is to teach you discipline. How do you create discipline? How do you manage it? And why do you need it, right? It's going to demonstrate over the 3 months the importance and the value it can bring. And I think that's what most people come out of the camp with, saying, I get it now. I know what I need to do, why I need to do it, and how to do it, right? Those are the three things that are important because it's one thing that, I think intellectually we can all get, discipline. Sounds good. It's nice. Until you've, most of it then traded and we've just sort of made trades and you can't figure out what is going wrong. I don't understand why I can't seem to figure this trading thing out. It's only until you go through a process to realize, now I understand. I was really just taking random trades. There was no consistency or approach. Once you start to understand what an approach can do for your trades and how it can improve it or affect it, then you say, okay, well, then how do I get that? Right? How do I create that consistency? And frankly, that's what we spend 3 months working with you on to help you understand how you can create a model for consistency for yourself and then take that through to your trading. Bootcamp is usually the start of a very long trading journey, right? It's not the finish point. You're not going to come out of this saying, I am now a professional trader. You're going to come out saying, I now have the tools to get myself to where I think I want to be in the future. So.
Yeah,
consider it.
I pulled the market atlas over here so that you can kind of see Apple. You can see that there's a heavy order up at 285, but then down here at 282.80, another order came in. That's pretty heavy too. So Apple could be a little bit range bound today. So I would be very cautious as a high day trader to take another entry going higher into this. You can see you kind of have a descending volume into this last push up to 284.50. So I don't really like that either. So we'll just kind of keep it there. NVIDIA is pushing higher. It looks pretty decent. Yeah, heavy to the top side. Andrew's killing it over there with NVIDIA.
Oh, no. NVIDIA's once again. He finds them, man, and he nails these trades. Yeah. He's taking a smaller size though. I guess he must be worried about the connection.
Yeah.
Because he's
I mean,
normally he's normally trading, you know, $10,000-$20,000 deep here when he's got a good trade like that. It looks like he's only made $1,000 today, which is great, right? $1,000. I mean, who's going to argue about that? But it's just not his normal size. So
I think when you're over there, because I've tried to trade over when I did a trip to Japan back in like 2019, but when I was still in the military, took vacation, go see family over there, and I was trading, and the delay on DAS is just so much greater because you're
right,
halfway around the world, right?
yeah,
That it's not what you're accustomed to. It's not bad. It's not that it's not tradable. It's just different, right? You're so
yeah.
accustomed to seeing your candles formed in a certain way. And when you get over there, they get formed differently. So
Well,
you
and
just
the
got to
other
get
thing,
used to it.
the other thing that's different between trading platforms and some others, like you can have a hotel with great internet speed, but it's the latency that's the problem, right? So it's not the download speed, because you can have a fast speed overall, but it's the latency, because we need to see data. You want to see it every couple of milliseconds, right? And you know, when you're streaming something nowadays, all of the streaming services, I mean, they buffer, right? So you're not really worried about the latency as long as you get sort of the average throughput that keeps your movie running smoothly. That's not what you need on trading, right? You need data real time, so it's much more sensitive to that latency. I watch it all the time. I always put up the network delay on my screen here so I can see. When I sit at home, it goes between about 15 and 40 milliseconds. When you're traveling, it can often be 2, 3, 400 milliseconds. So you imagine when you're getting up to half a second delay, that's a big difference in trading. Half a second to see the price updates or any data update, that can be pretty significant. So yeah, you're right, Mike. But that is one of the reasons why I like DAS. At least DAS, it's not as sensitive to the latency as others. Other tools will just stop working. You get a high latency like that, they just shut down,
Stop.
right? Because they just stop. DAS will keep going. It's just like you said, the candles will form differently because it's like jerky, right? Suddenly you'll have no candle, and then suddenly, like, bam, the whole candle's there. You're like, what the hell? You know, that's a sign that your latency is probably spiking and all over the place. So, all right, well, we're
Look
here.
at Apple. Oh, it made that new little itty bitty high and then has sold off again. So again, like I was talking about, you got to be very careful up around this 285.
Wow, we got some members in the chat room trading some interesting stuff. Look at Kaiser on NVIDIA. Man, he's nailing it.
Oh yeah, Kaiser. He's a longtime member too.
Yeah, he's been trading for quite a while. And I can't.
I remember Kaiser.
Show you guys his trade as he posted it. Here's the trade that he posted into the chat room as he's sharing his trade. He's not the only one. Looks like a few people were in on NVIDIA. That's Kaiser's trade. You can see another trade from another member in the chat room. You can see theirs looks totally different. They're on AMD in this case, so getting some good moves there. Yeah, it's always great when our members share their trades, and some are even trading Intel. I know you guys mentioned Intel this morning. I'm not always a big fan, but here's a trade on Intel. You can see that everybody's got that similar move that happened on the semis here this morning. So feeling a little Romo here. I sat it out, and maybe I should have jumped in, but what can you do? It's not my trade, so I wasn't focused on that. But we did Mike got his Apple trade. Now let's see what the rest of the morning brings. I noticed the markets overall have reversed the SPY. You know, had that big run up we were talking about 10 minutes ago. It's come right back down to the area where the price opened here this morning. The Qs haven't quite got down that far, but they have at least stopped going higher. So looks like we may be taking a breath, and we'll see if that means things are going up or down. Tesla's been a little choppy. I mean, I would find this extremely hard to trade. Look at this sort of popped up, down. You know, we're now below the VWAP, below yesterday's
Yeah.
close. But yeah, it looks pretty ugly to me. At least not the type of thing that I like to trade. So
Apple is Apple is still staying above the all-time high from yesterday. It
mm,
pulled back again. Just really trying to get above this 285. It seems like it's just running out of buyers when it gets up above 284.
yeah. I see you guys mentioning PLTR. Put that up on the screen. Yeah, it had a good run up off the open. Looks like it's again pulling off the high. Look at that. The high of the day is 174.99. It couldn't quite get to the 175 number, but it was close. So, um, yeah. What else are you guys looking at? CRDO. Yeah, that was one that we had pre-market. Um, yeah, interesting move higher there. Again, tough trade. Whenever it sells off like that and then bounces, those are tough trades in my opinion. Good volume though, 5 million shares so far this morning. That's about its average daily volume that it's already hit only 20 minutes into the market. So you got a good move. And of course, as it sits here over 200 up at these highs, yeah, good move there. So NVIDIA double top. It's a little early for. I mean, yes, it does absolutely look like a double top. It's not the type of trade I would take a reversal on, but just because it not only is it early in the day. Well, three things. It's early in the day. We didn't get a significant volume spike at the high, and it set a new high on that second test, so it actually went higher. That being said, I mean, it looks good for a short-term pullback here, but you know, I don't chase these moves. So you're also asking about AMD. Will it? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it'll touch 230 or not. It's looking strong right now, and I see some orders to the top side on it, so it does look like there's an absolute possibility. I try not to predict these things.
Apple just cleared 285.
See what Mike's looking at here.
But as soon as it got there, it right back down.
Yeah.
It did clear those orders though. But definitely not my setup. You got some volume on this candle too. If you look at the volume on Apple up here at 285.
And Boston had a decent trade in MU. First long, then short. Okay, you're taking Micron for a ride here, higher and then lower. Good for you. Yeah, if you guys are open traders, it's actually a decent day here for these open trades. We've got some good moves. Apple's actually one of the harder ones. I know it's what you were focused on, Mike. To me, it just looks like it's a little harder. Like compared to, you look at that chart compared to what you've got on NVIDIA, which was just, I mean, such an easy long if you were in that, right? You basically could have got in anywhere and it went higher. Now, you got to have a strategy, you got to stick to your rules, but in hindsight it's always easy to look at a chart and say, oh my god, look at that trade, right? But definitely NVIDIA was one of the nice ones today. AMD a little bit tougher because it pulled back today, but if you play those support levels on the previous day close, which Jared from our chat room likes to call the king of all levels. I mean, look at AMD. Came pretty much right down, almost to the penny to the previous day close, and then it took off from there. So it's, that would have been a good long signal if you were also watching NVIDIA and said, well, it's running and gunning, right? Why would, maybe I'll take a risk on AMD. Would have worked out very well for you. So, but I see a lot of you guys were in a number of the different semiconductors. Intel got to move higher. Micron, like we pointed out, got to move higher. So, yeah, some good action there. Meanwhile, Apple is a little choppy here.
Yeah. I don't like the risk to reward. It might have been nice to take a short off of 285, but not my setup on that next candle. It pulled back too heavily. You can't get a good risk reward. I mean, if you enter at 284, that's even say 30. to, I mean, you have to partial around VWAP. It's just not there for a risk to reward trade on it.
Right.
I think we're going to go test. Even Market Atlas has got a ton of orders down at the pre-market high right now. NVIDIA had some news, said
what's the news?
I was just listening. Benzinga was going 500 million investment in AI, so open AI, that they're planning for booking for next year. And that work has not begun, so we'll see what it does to NVIDIA. See when they post it. He was very choppy in his presentation of it. So I guess, this CFO. So the CFO is speaking somewhere right now. There's Apple down to that 283.40.
You guys are asking what Atlas is saying about Tesla. Let's take a look at Atlas.
Lots
here.
of stacked to the downside.
NVIDIA.
Peter will pull it up.
Yeah, well,
Tesla
NVIDIA
is stacked to the downside.
Tesla definitely has the downside orders. You can see here. Just look at the bigger candles. We have some orders to the top, but yeah, look at the big volume we got all the way down the chain here. Let me just change the configuration here. I got to put aggregate for at least 10 levels here. So,
look at.
But yeah, interesting. Interesting, yeah. Whereas NVIDIA, on the other hand, definitely more orders to the top side in NVIDIA, but looks like it's quieted for a moment. You guys were also asking about or mentioning Robinhood. I see that, it made a move higher here, pretty aggressive move right there, as it popped up to the high of day.
I think we're gonna take apples.
Wow, Apple's selling off now.
Yeah, selling off now. I just couldn't find a good risk or reward to take this short. I was looking at it for a short, especially with that volume spike at 285. Like it had a lot of volume and it went nowhere. But that next candle, because I always like the next candle on Apple. Or when I take a short, I always like the next candle to not make a new high. And then I look to take an entry at a new 1 minute low off of it. And that getting in around 284.20, needing to partial at VWAP. Yeah, it's just with a stop above 285, it's just wasn't worth it. In hindsight, it was, but
you're very
not initially.
Film Orgati. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. You're talking about CRDO. What's CRDO? I mean, it had an interesting move. It wasn't the best move of the day, I would say. There's some other stuff out there that's moving better. Depends what your risk, I guess. Your risk to reward. I mean, it from a dollar move, I get that, right? It's moved a good 20, 25 bucks, I guess. But it depends on what your risk you had to take on that. CRDO also is sporting a 60-cent spread right now, which means your risk probably has to be at least twice that. So you're setting a $1.20 risk as opposed to PLTR, for example, that right now, if you're trading PLTR, it's trading with a 5 to 10 cent risk. So you could, it's only a $5 move it's made on the day, but if you got in with a tighter risk, you could actually make more money, depending on how your risk management works as well. So I see somebody's looking at
higher.
Oracle. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff that's moving today. A lot better actually than yesterday. Even yesterday we were seeing relatively low volume on a lot of stuff. The volume is actually still a little low today. The RVol on the SPY is only 42%. It's 78% on the Qs though. And a lot of the stuff we're looking, like all the semiconductors, they're sitting, well, in and around 100%. It depends on what you're watching. NVIDIA's at 104, Intel's at 200%, MU's only at 78, and AMD's at 79. So I'm looking at those relative volumes, which shows that they're, but they're around the 100%. That just means it's good. It's good average volume. Intel, a big mover on big volume compared to its normal activity today, and it's sitting at the highs right there. So, yeah, and Atlas is it's a good visualization tool if you want to see those volumes and see how they work. We've got it here. Whoops. Here, and it's a lot of the same data that you can get on level 2. It's just a lot easier to see, I find. Right? It's just
visual representation.
Yeah, it's just at a glance. If I look at Intel, I gotta spell it right, INTC. You can sort of jump in here to a stock and say, okay, clearly I can see the volume is to the top side on Intel right at the moment, right? Because you can see where the orders are. You just look for the big bars. It doesn't even matter what the numbers are. You can just see where the big bars are, and you say, well, look at that. Look, there's so many orders above the active price compared to being below it. And it might be a little hard to see on the chart that I've got here. I don't know how to make my dots bigger, but I gotta figure that out. But anyways, I just know it's always in the middle. You can see where it's at, and that tells me it's likely to move higher. Unlike, you look at something like what were we looking at earlier that had NVIDIA's top side, Tesla.
Yeah.
And as you can easily see that the volume. Again, I can get that data or a lot of it off of level 2. It's just easily consumable when you have it in this Atlas tool. So, and there are other tools out there that do this. We've modeled this off of some of the other tools out there that do it. The intent is for us to bring you sort of the best capability of the market if you're an active trader in one place. So, you go to Trading Terminal, and you can not only get the Atlas, but in the same price you get the simulator, the journaling tools, the education center, the earnings reports, the scanners, right? Those are tools that often cost a lot of money if you buy them independently. So Anders put a lot of money and a lot of work into developing this, and it's a great
scanners tool. Alone will cost you the amount of the Trading Terminal subscription.
Absolutely.
Map itself will cost you more unless you're in the US and you got a Schwab account.
Yep.
Like it's well worth it.
Yeah. So
NVIDIA's up near high a day again. I don't like how it kind of stalled out here though.
Yep. I noticed that. It jumped back. And this is a good example of, you guys were asking about NVIDIA earlier on the double top. And when you mentioned it, the price was down here around 184.60, I think. And I said, this is one of the reasons why I don't chase it. Because, I just don't know how far it's going to go and when it's going to reverse. I mean, if you've got a solid strategy that you can trade these repeatably, then by all means. But for me, I'm looking for the bigger moves. I like big setups, which means that, most of my trades actually happen later in the day. You may note, especially now that I'm like running the show for Carlos, I'm finding it tougher to take trades because I'm busy managing screens and trying to keep things properly.
Yeah, going
showing the right stuff.
I don't know how Carlos does it. That's like, I really don't.
You can get used to it. I found that when I took over for him before, when he was off for a couple of weeks, by the second week, I was getting more comfortable and you can do it. But it's like anything, right? You got to get that experience and sort of be able to sort of manage the multiple threads of information. Right now, I'm getting used to it again. So, at the open, I wasn't feeling confident and ready for trades. So while I can regret missing this NVIDIA rise higher, I wasn't really in a position to take it. And, that's just it is what it is sometimes. So,
Yep.
A good...
I'm just keeping an eye on NVIDIA and Apple here. See what
good
goes,
lower cutoff
maybe.
and higher cutoff number for Atlas. I don't know what you mean by that. Cater for any tank. What do you mean a lower cutoff and a higher cutoff? Maybe I'm just not familiar with the terminology, but you can maybe try and restate it. We can help you out. Andrew's books are good. You always have to...
I know what she's talking about now. It's a new function that came out.
Okay.
I do the lower cutoff at 0. And then the upper, I always leave the upper at 100. If you lower that, you get more color preference, I guess, where you go to.
Oh, wow.
So it's really preference about where you want how you want the Atlas to show you the colors. For me, I like 0 and 100. It's just the default setting.
Wow, I didn't even notice that setting. Oh yeah, so I can play with it here. I see how it cuts things out.
Yeah.
And then you just see the big orders or not. So the lower cutoff seems to me to have the bigger impact. I'm not sure. I wouldn't want to cut the higher too much because then it just amalgamates everything.
Yeah.
The lower cutoff you can move up, I guess, if you want to sort of reduce the colors a little bit. Interesting. What's bigger for me is the sensitivity. Keep in mind, the sensitivity, if you move it lower, right, then everything goes black as well. It's just another way to look at that data. I usually leave it up around 5-ish. That way I can sort of see everything that's happening. So those work together, the sensitivity and the cutoff numbers.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. See, I learned something new. Thanks, guys. All right. Well, we're getting into the sort of quiet part of the morning. For those that were, got some good trades, your day might be done, and that's good. That's great for you. I'm just getting started. As I get to watch this market day, this is usually where I, have opportunity to trade, starting in about 20 minutes. But we'll see. I mean, I like when things move because it's good that they move because then I can take advantage of the reversal moves should they happen. They don't always, but should they happen, I'll be ready. Always ready. PLTR, sitting at high of day right here. This is good. I want it to spike higher. Then maybe I can get a reversal.
Yes.
TSLL. You want to take a look? Sure, we can take a... Now, keep in mind, it's always tricky when you're doing the derivative things. So let's take a look at TSLL. Because it doesn't represent the stock, right? This is obviously an ETF that you can trade. I mean, it's certainly stacked to the top side. I don't know, and this would be just maybe my unfamiliarity. I don't know how representative TSLL on where the volumes sit here reflect on the actual price. Because, it's going to move in concert with the stock. So really what matters is, I would say it probably doesn't matter where the volumes are on TSLL. It's going to do exactly what the stock does. So even if it's got all these upside orders that I can see on it, that's just other people making bets on where things are going to go. I would watch the stock itself and give you an indication. In this case, they happen to match, right? The orders look to be on the top side here on Tesla, like it was in TSLL. But just keep that in mind, right? Be skeptical. It's sort of like watching, if you watched, let's look at the Qs, the triple Qs here, right? So does it matter where the volumes sit here in an Atlas type tool for the Qs? I would argue it doesn't, because Q moves with the aggregate of the underlying stocks. So it doesn't really matter where the volume sits. It's still going to do exactly what the underlying stocks dictate. It's just a calculated value, as opposed to an individual stock offering, which is going to move based on people, the buy and sell activity, which is
Tesla
very different.
breaking.
Right?
Tesla just broke a nice $2 high-a-day break off the pre-market high on some volume, pushing up. Did not have that on my radar, especially after that big sell. So,
oh yeah, pop higher, you bet, on volume. I like that. That's sometimes that can give me. So there's the good volume I like. So almost parabolic here. That's sometimes good for a reversal. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I said I wouldn't take it yet until I saw sign of reversal, and at that point I did not see that reversal sign. So got to see where Tesla's going to end up here. What is the Atlas tell me?
Tesla could
still
run.
Yeah, it's still topside loaded here. Really has a very strong order book. Well, let's see where it goes now. It's pulling back here a little bit.
Tesla.
PLTR coming down. A couple of you guys are saying that you're short PLTR. Okay. Playing the momentum. Oh,
Apple's struggling at this 284.50 level again.
So you got Apple. Oh no, you got Tesla going.
Yeah, I got Tesla going. I like Tesla.
Put Apple on the screen. Yep. Apple's struggling there, like you pointed out.
Sometimes those levels you mark in pre-market really matter.
That they do. That's why we do it. Well,
and we do it.
That's the reality, because you never know which of the sometimes they're going to matter, right? That's the crazy thing.
Tesla's going to have a nice, man, that would have been a great high-day break off of the pre-market high. I just wasn't watching it. It pulled way too far back. It made a new, when it tested pre-market high the first time, it pulled all the way back and made a new low on the day. That's not typically what I like to see.
No, it's tough to take something from low to high of the day, because you wouldn't have a lot of confidence it's going to make that entire traverse.
No. There's still some orders up at 285 on Apple, so it may attempt that 285 level again. We will see here. Tesla. Intel's continuing higher. Apple pushing to 285. See if it can't get going. but it's going up straight into R3, so that's a concern for me. For a high day break on it.
Tesla got a spike higher, and now it's moving low. I'm good to just watch at this point.
Got a pull back. Grinding its way back to 285. See what we get here. Nice, cool. NVIDIA, not much. Came all the way back below VWAP. Hard to get into a trade right now.
I agree, at least for me as well. It's not my signature type moves. So quiet time for me. I usually just try and not force things and wait to see what's going to shape up, and if I can get some bigger moves a little bit later. Keep in mind, as big as these moves look, I remind you guys about this all the time, but sometimes the biggest moves happen through mid part of the day, right? I mean, not always. Sometimes you get the big move right at the open, but more often than not, you'll actually get the big move in the mid part of the day. So, you know, it doesn't mean the trading has to be done just because the open excitement is over, nor do you have to sort of jump in. I struggle. I've always struggled trading the open. I don't know why. You'd like to think that after all these years, I'd be much better at trading the open, but it's not my level of expertise. It's not my forte.
Tesla's back testing the pre-market high. See if it can hold it and continue upward, or if we're gonna lose it and head south.
This is a good indication of where you can see levels that become important. Look where Tesla is right now, and like you said, Mike, you know, even after around 937, look at this is the exact area where it's sort of at the point, hit the high of day. Clearly, look at these two spinning top, whatever you want to call them, these uncertainty candles, these dojis.
Yeah.
And then it moved down to the low of day before getting all the way through that and to the high. Now we're back. So this clearly is a range where there's some interest, right? It was resistance just, 20 minutes ago now, or 30 minutes ago. Now it looks like it's going to be support. So that was, sometimes we say those levels are magic. This is why we set levels, and then you watch throughout the day, right, to figure out where the relevant levels are on the day. It's not always the stuff that you mark off of your chart. We do it so that we can be ready, but then intraday you might say, okay, maybe there's more significance, right? This level that we were just talking about, if I zoom back on Tesla, I can see pre-market. Look at pre-market, right? Look how many times it tested that exact level pre-market. Here at just around 9 o'clock, here at 7 a.m., right? So obviously there is some relative level of importance, and it might just be for today. It might just be for this morning, but at the moment that seems to be an important level. So this is why, you know, we sort of try and use different time frames. You got to sort of look back at what the history tells you and see if you can find some clues, some relevance in it. Again, sometimes it's relevant, sometimes it's not, but it's better to be aware of it than to say, what's going on? Why is it doing that? Again, I can't tell you why, but I can tell you where it's likely to do something. So now, you know, it's pushing through a little bit. All right, well, maybe it's going to start, you know, reducing the relevance of that level over the course of the day. Who knows? But at least I know where to be watching.
Apple just made a new high above 285. Cleared a lot of big orders, but again, not going anywhere. So let's see what the next candle does for me.
And that can happen on Apple. I find a lot where it's it looks like it's going to run and then it just doesn't.
Yep. I don't like Apple for a high day break. So I'm looking more Apple for a short right now.
Okay.
But I'm just not getting the signals either for a short. Like it
Right.
just I think somebody wanted to partial at 285 because there was a ton of orders on Atlas at 283.20, 281.10. And when that order at 285 got filled, those orders came off right afterwards. Now there's nothing down there. Just not my setup. It will not set up for a short. Yeah, more is less in this business. I absolutely agree with that. You have to remember that being in a trade, or how should I say this? Looking at screens is trading just like pounding a button 1,000 times a day is trading, right? Like there's no difference other than one of them, you're preserving your capital and ensuring that you're applying risk at appropriate times versus gambling like you're at a slot machine and putting money into it and pressing the button and hoping you hit the jackpot, right? So trading is something that takes time. It takes patience. You have to develop a plan that you're confident in, because when you have a plan that you're confident in and you trade it, you can then evaluate yourself on that trading. And if you're not able to stick with your plan or you're struggling with following your plan, well, that tells us that your plan isn't the issue. It's the one thing that makes traders quit, which is you have to figure out about yourself what the problem is, right?
Right.
My favorite saying is you have to figure out why you suck. Right? like it's harsh, it's mean, it's not this world's new PC, right? We all want to be coddled and told that we're great at everything. Well, you're not. And you have to figure it out if you want to be successful in trading. And until you will admit that you suck and need to figure out your problem, you're never going to figure it out. Peter, I, and everybody here at Bear Bull Traders can sit here and tell you over and over what to do, and you just come up with some excuse why we're crazy and don't know what we're talking about, and you do. Right, Peter? I mean, how many times have you done that?
Oh yeah, we've heard it a million times, haven't we? So, like I say, I say this all the time. As traders, we'd like to think we're smarter than a 5-year-old. The reality is, in a lot of cases, we're not. Like, you can tell a 5-year-old, "Don't touch the stove; it's hot. Don't touch it; it's hot. Don't touch it; it's hot. Don't touch the..." Anyways, you know what? You know when they learn the lesson? After they touch the stove, right? And I find in trading, it's a lot the same way. We could tell you, don't do this, right? Follow these rules. And you're going to be like, yeah, but. There's always a yeah, but. Until you lose the money, you feel the pain. You've touched the hot stove. Then you're like, okay, what was that thing you were talking about rules and discipline? And now you're ready to listen because you had the burnt fingers. You understand the pain. So I find that, unfortunately, that pain is the best lesson. And the reality is, nobody is ready to learn until the pain is worse than the learning process, right? Until you've experienced enough pain that you're like, I don't want to do this anymore. Okay, now I'm going to listen to you. And some people that happens early, some it happens late. Some it's a mix, right? Like you get one lesson and then you got to move on, and sort of the next one you think, oh, I got this now, right? Now I got it. I know what I'm doing. and then you actually regress. So it's a continuous process, I'm telling you. I've done a lot of stuff in my life, a lot of professional jobs and roles in different corporate environments. This is a lot tougher than any of that, anything that I've done. There's less safety nets. You're more self-reliant. You really have to dig deep to demonstrate the discipline. And for some, it's easier than others. It comes down to personality, experience, background, like so many factors that go into it. That's why, like, we don't teach you a trading style. We're not going to say, here's how you trade, right? And we're not going to give you the step-by-step, here's exactly what you need to trade. You need to create that for yourself, because the signals and the what you see in the market is going to be different than what I see in the market. Yeah, we're looking at the same chart, but you're going to see opportunity where I don't, and vice versa, which is why, what we try and do is help you create the process by which you're going to be able to create those signals that are meaningful to you, and that you're going to be able to make yourself consistently follow. Again, we feel like we're preaching a lot on it today, but it's an important lesson, and it's one of the things Mike and I are we're adamant on, helping people through that process, because it's not easy, and that's one of the things in this boot camp, right? It's an awesome experience, but we never recommend it for anybody that's just starting. If you're just starting out, you don't have enough experience yet. You haven't experienced some of the losses. You haven't, sort of tried to do something and failed and wondered, why didn't that work? We can help you with it, but you have to have had that experience of it failing first, right? We sometimes get people that come into boot camp that literally they're like, I'm on my second week trading, and I want you to show me how to trade. They get value out of it, but it's tough, right? Because they spend the first month and a half just figuring out the base lessons that, frankly, you can do in a simulator all on your own. So,
yeah. Yes,
all right.
yes.
Apple is, like you said, it's at the highs here. It's hesitating a little bit.
Yeah.
It's not getting some strong.
I just,
movement.
man, I want to short it, but I don't.
Yeah.
I
hear you, because I was
making new highs. I'm just like,
I was sort of thinking the same thing.
Not there.
It's
signals are just not there that this thing is done. So everything, moving averages are sloping up. It's staying above its all-time high, staying above the pre-market high. Like, Apple is saying, I'm strong.
Let's see what Apple. Where's Apple for me here? Let's see what
Intel
the level
too. Intel.
Now I'm starting to see orders on the downside here on Apple, though, so it's looking a little better.
Orders keep coming in at 283.40 and 283.30, and then they go away, and then they come back, and then they go away, and then they come back. So and they're large orders. It's not like it's small orders. So it's just kind of, I want to see a good signal that we are done at this top.
Yeah.
And if it can stay above, see, look, we're about ready to make, there it is again, another high.
Yeah. I was tempted to go short. What I saw on the level 2, though, is, like you said, there's a bunch of orders that just are appearing in here that are giving it some support. So,
I for sure would. For me, I would not be going short until this thing makes a new 5-minute low. I mean, it hasn't made a new 5-minute low since basically 10:05. So it's had some pullbacks, but it still hasn't made a new 5-minute low. So that's where I'm holding my ammunition. Tesla definitely lost that pre-market high level, going all the way back to previous day close, and now red on the day. Oh, there goes Apple. Look at that.
yeah. There it goes.
Right back down to 284.50. It's just, yeah, not my setup. Not even mad. NVIDIA, everything kind of. Oh, wow. I had Benzinga on. What was the news that came out on the SPY? Look at the SPY.
Yeah. So
What?
pretty harsh drop there.
Does anybody have news on the SPY? Hear the SPY news? I don't see anything in the chat room. I've had Benzinga on. I don't hear anything on Benzinga. What the heck? So I looked at Benzinga here and it says, I see this headline, OpenAI developing garlic mode to counter Google's recent gains.
Garlic mode?
Garlic mode.
Okay.
Garlic mode? What the heck is garlic mode?
That's a darn fine question.
And it says I got to subscribe to find out. No, thank you. At $299 a year to subscribe to, I have no idea what this website is. The information. Yeah. No. Enjoy. I will stick with my headlines only. Garlic mode. Now I'm gonna be looking for what garlic mode is all day.
What does garlic mode mean? Yeah.
What is garlic mode? Maybe we should ask ChatGPT.
Yeah. Why don't you ask the AI itself? Figure
Let's
it out.
ask ChatGPT. What do we get on ChatGPT? What is garlic mode? Let's see what ChatGPT says here. Searching the web. Good question.
Good question. I have no idea. Is that what it's saying?
It says, good question. Here, I can put it up. Do we get in trouble if we show garlic mode on here?
I don't know.
I don't know about, well, YouTube won't kill us. I don't think so. Garlic mode probably refers to garlic, a new internal model under development at OpenAI, not a public feature mode that's available.
Okay. All right.
Larger language model.
Also fights off vampires.
Yes.
Apple spiked all the way down to VWAP and then right back up here fairly aggressively. Interesting.
Wow, look at that. It went all the way down. That Wix down at 284.15, but those orders remained on Atlas. Do you see that?
Yeah.
283.40. Still stayed there. Apple finally made a new 5-minute low. How mean. Tough to trade that short. Very tough. So I will probably have to leave you like 10 minutes early before the top of the hour, Peter.
Okay.
Considering I think we're going to be on till the top of the hour, right?
I think so. I don't think Andrew
I think
and
so.
Brian are going to be able to make it in here to the room. I see them still in the they're trading there in Thailand. Looks like this is their evening their evening activities here. And
so
funny, I've been pricing out trips because, of course, now that I'm not in Thailand, I'm like dying to go on a trip somewhere, anywhere. And my
come
God,
to the DR, Peter.
Yeah, just hang out with you over Christmas.
Hang out with us.
Yeah.
Travel's expensive now.
Oh my God, no kidding. Like compared to what I'm thinking about travel, the last time I went on a resort vacation was well before COVID. So my reference points are way off. I know that. But still, when I'm looking at a beach vacation that's clocking in, it's like 8 to 10,000 where I used to be able to get a trip for two for like 3 to 4 grand on sale, but still like it still feels like it's prohibitively expensive.
Pretty pricey.
Yeah. Anyways.
Oh, hey, is that Andrew? How you doing?
Is he here? Wait. Oh, I gotta enable him here. Hold on a sec. See if I can get.
I can hear him.
Andre. Okay. I think I've got him in here now.
Hey, Andrew. How is Thailand?
You guys. Peter, do you think you can also put it into chat room?
I could do that. Absolutely. Hold on a sec. Let's get your. Are you sharing a screen?
I am not sharing a screen.
Okay, that's fine. All right, let's get you into the chat. Let's go back into the chat room with all of our friends. Hello, everybody. Hello, Bear Bull Traders. Hello, everybody in Thailand. Hope you're all doing well.
There's not a lot of people left.
In Thailand.
Oh, no?
Did they all go to bed?
They all go to bed. Like the room was full after 45 minutes. Everybody left. Like there's only one trader here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 trader left. Joe is already going, so only 5 of them are left.
Okay.
We got you. Yeah.
This trading 9:30, 10 o'clock is.
It's really hard, like trading, honestly, at this time, especially our schedule is really full. So we go really hard. But we are really missing you guys. Mike, Peter, you too. We are really missing you. Everybody's saying that we really miss you guys.
We're missing it as well. So it's Look, next time we'll have to do it next time.
It's FOMO every time I see you guys over there posting pictures. I'm just like, ugh.
Where are we going to go next time? Where are we going to go next time, Peter? Peter, you got to. Where are we going to go?
We got to pick somewhere.
Ottawa.
It would be cool. We should pick somewhere we should go to the Gold Coast in Australia or something like that. That would be cool.
Wow.
Bali.
I was thinking of another meetup in Austin. I'd like to visit Austin again. What do you think?
Yeah. Austin's nice.
Austin is really nice.
We had fun there. I had fun when we did that Austin.
What about this one? Yeah, what about set up something for? Let's set up something for January. A meetup in Austin. It doesn't have to be trading, but time to visit. It's a good time there too. We do a meetup in Austin. We have a lot of traders in Austin.
When you get
Yeah,
we're
we
going to
could
be
do
in
that.
Vegas. We're in Vegas in February. Got a bunch of our going to be there.
Yep.
There you go.
Mike, are you
Vegas is always fun.
going to be there, Mike?
Yes, I will be there in Vegas.
Peter, going to be there?
Mike never avoids Vegas. He's always up for Vegas. Yeah, I love Vegas. I'd be happy to go. Sure.
You have a timeshare there too. You have a
I
place
do.
there, yes?
I do.
All right, so I think if there's no question, if you don't mind, we call it a day.
You had a good trade on. Actually, I wanted to ask you, Andrew. You had a good trade on NVDA, but it looked like you were trading. Is it just because of the connection you were trading smaller size than usual? Because it looked like your profits were. It was a great trade, but lower profit.
Yeah, exactly. That's a very good question. Let me see if I can actually share my screen quickly. So we go through this, and then I explain my thought process behind it. So now you should be able to see my screen. This is market ads last, and this is the NVDA. So obviously, right now the problem that I have, you guys see my screen, yes?
Yep.
Or no?
I've got it here. Yeah, I've got it
Sweet.
up
Yeah,
here.
it's basically, yeah, okay. So what was happening here was obviously NVDA was strong in the pre-market and opened the strong. I did a 1 minute opening range breakout, which is essentially the bread and butter that we are having on that. So this is a 1 minute opening range breakout. Put a stop loss just below the VWAP, and we did a really nice 4 hour something like that toward that. But the problem that right now I'm having is, first of all, the Wi-Fi is kind of not. Yesterday we gave us some hard time. Today was good, but yesterday gave us a hard time. I only have one extra screen, so I have two screens. And I have Atlas, I have chat room, I have website, everything on. So I don't have a lot of eyes on the market. And obviously, under this situation, I'm not really trading the same size aggressively as I do at the office. So what I did was I tried to go smaller shares list, but I did get a partial fill on it. So I even didn't get the fill that I wanted. I think I wanted to go with 1,000 share. I think I got filled like 600, 700 shares maximum. And obviously that turned out to be a much smaller profit for me. Still, we got $1,000, but I mean that's good enough for the demonstration purposes. Because it's very important for me in Thailand. People see my screen, and I try to be as clear as possible why I am making the trades. It's not about how much money I have or I make. It's about, okay, what's in your mind? What's your thought process? And I think I was pretty successful tonight at explaining what I saw in the Atlas, what I saw in the price action and execution and everything.
Nice. Very nice.
What did you trade, Peter? Did you trade anything at the open?
I have not. No, I didn't get any trades at the open, so just waiting for my opportunity, which usually comes later in the day. Mike did trade Apple. He got a long trade on
Nice.
Apple. Didn't last very long, but he got to the high of day break, his typical signature trade.
Got the partial at a level that Apple struggled at 284.55 for a while, and then that stopped me out basically at break even. And now Apple's finally getting up above. I mean, look at it finally starting to move, but just not the clean break that I would have liked.
That was at all-time high. Trades really nice at all-time high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Perfect.
Well, good. So what are you guys doing during the day? What's happening in Thailand? I just want to
So
know.
we start, so to give the FOMO, we start our day. The sunrises are very beautiful here. So I personally wake up at around 5. It's also jet lag. In the last 2 days, I did my run in the morning because it gets hot during the day. So I try to run before sunrise, 7:30. And then we have a yoga instructor, Kara. She's very nice, very beautiful. So we do 1 hour of yoga and breath work and stretch and meditation. And then we do have breakfast. And by around 10:30, we're done by breakfast. And then people have, in the last 2 days, people organize things for themselves. Like a bunch of us went to, elephant sanctuary. We saw some elephants. We played around with them. A lot of people, rented scooters that went around the islands. It was really nice. There are waterfalls. There are, so many beautiful beach restaurants. Tomorrow, everybody, we do the same thing. We do have our yoga session earlier in the morning, and then we leave for scuba diving and visiting a couple of smaller islands outside of the main island. So that will be Wednesday. And then we come back usually in the afternoon, 6, 7, we have dinner. And then we get ready for trading, which starts at 9:30 p.m. But we come at this room around 8:30. So we start the pre-market show. It's really nice, like a cinema theater style. We watch you guys and discuss and trade. And right now is 20 to 11. So pretty much everybody's gone. I'm pretty tired as well. And then we start again tomorrow. Same thing.
My clock's earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's another funny part that Peter, I noticed that I'm sitting next to Brian, and it's
Yeah.
unbelievable. So, I was trying to look at his, laptop, making sure that everything is working. And then I look at his, time on his laptop. Again, you're sharing my screen probably. Yeah. So this time here, down here.
Oh,
So, and I saw that it's its market is open. I said, okay, Brian, let's discuss later. Market open. And I came to my own laptop and I saw, oh, there's still 2 minutes left to the market open. So his time in the laptop is 2 minutes ahead. That's
Two
why he
minutes.
knew everything. Yeah, 2 minutes. It's not half an hour. It's not 1 hour. It's not the different time zone. It's just 2 single minutes. Like
It's how I knew it.
that's how he knew it.
I want that laptop. I'd love
do
to see.
too.
Yeah, 2 minutes into the future. That's an eternity in trading. You could make $1
That's
billion
why
off of
every
that.
time like Brian says, I'm long as spy. I mean, look at it, it's already gone. Like, how did you get this by? That's
Wow.
No, 746. I'm 744. See? Yeah.
That's an amazing skill. I see Carlos wandering around behind you there. So I see we got people. There he is. Let's get him up on the screen. There he is.
Yeah, people love you.
There he is.
Missing.
Yes.
YouTube people missing Carlos.
Yeah. So
He's
Yeah.
the first person opening up the shop. Open the.
I wake people up.
Awesome.
I make people up. She's like, she's up.
Beauty.
Awesome.
All right, guys. I'm gonna hand it over to Mike. And thank you so much, guys, for covering for us. Thanks, John, for
Oh, no.
covering for us. We
Absolutely.
appreciate that. Jared, everybody. So we are having a very difficult, hard time in Thailand. Working hard, and you
Oh,
guys
yeah.
are taking care.
Yeah, so-
hardly working.
Yeah, question in the chat, Stephen, before you go. Yes, we will have a webinar coming not this Tuesday, but next Tuesday on tax accounting for our US day traders. So we have a accountant coming in to give you his take and advice on the 3 different types of methods that you can trade as a trader in the US. So highly encourage you to check that out. But before that, we have Jared with his market profile and pre-market preparation. So that is this evening. I would highly encourage you to come to that. There will be a recording. So if you need to interpret Jared's language, you will have the recording there to be able to go back to with AI to interpret for you.
That's right. The Jared Whisperer. He speaks a highly technical language, so we love him for it.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, God bless you guys. We're gonna
All
head
right.
out. And,
Okay.
all the best, guys. Ciao,
Have
ciao.
a great day, guys.
Well, have a great evening. Get some sleep. Enjoy your day tomorrow.
Later. All right, there you go, guys. That was Andrew and team. They were here with us. Whoops, let's get back to our charts. Get back to trading. Apple still setting all-time highs here. So that pullback wasn't long-lived. It is going for sure.
But it never really set back up either for me for a high a day. I was watching it while Andrew was talking, and it popped through and it went, but just not my setup. Like, just so little tough trade. Apple was tough trading today for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think Andrew realized that he just told on Carlos.
Just told on him? Oh.
Yeah. Well,
I did-
because Andrew can stream and share his screen in Zoom.
No,
Why can't
that's true.
Carlos?
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, what's going on? That all worked fine for Andrew.
Yeah, Andrew.
Yeah.
He's got the special laptop.
Yeah. Well, apparently there's a lot of special laptops going on around there because we've got Brian's that's like 2 minutes ahead. So how does that work?
Yeah.
We got to figure out where they buy their equipment because apparently there's some magic going on there.
I know.
don't care- I don't care-
I want a laptop that sees 2 minutes into the future.
No
Please.
kidding. I don't care where you are in the world. I want a laptop that sees 2 minutes in the future. That would be awesome. So
Could have been in Apple at 285 and just sitting there.
yeah.
So
Anyways, all right. Speaking of which, Apple just spiked here to a new high.
new high up there.
Look at this, 286.45 now is the all-time high.
I know. Oh.
And why? I don't understand. Why is Apple at all-time highs? Like, what's special has
AirPod
happened?
3s,
I don't
AirPod
know.
3 Pros. I'm telling you.
Enough to move this entire company? That seems a little extreme.
iPhone 7s. Telling you. Well, they are. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why, but I think Apple's going to have a blowout earnings after this year. It just seemed like so many people were going to the iPhone 17 this go round. So
They are.
yeah, I just think it's my take. I know
Right.
I'm just a lonely person, but I definitely think I think their earnings are going to be good.
Well,
Look at that. Look
We'll
at
see.
that. Ooh. And Apple grinding its way. Wants to get up to 300. Maybe not now, but maybe not for a while. Maybe after earnings, but
yeah, I think it'll take a while to get there.
yeah. Looking at Market Atlas, what does green balls and their size mean? So green balls on Market Atlas mean that there was buying volume, and the
Right.
larger the ball or bubble, the larger amount of volume that occurred at that price level.
Right.
And if they're red, it means that there was selling going on at that level. So,
Figure out how I make those. Is there a way to make the balls bigger in Market Atlas?
so there's not a way to make them bigger, but the best way is to shrink your chart, meaning make it half the size of your screen, Peter.
Make the chart half the like.
Yeah, like make it
Oh.
half.
I
And
see.
then you need to zoom in a little bit on yours, and there you go. Now you can start to get bubbles.
I see.
You got the sensitivity turned way up, but that's what I've typically found. I find that I like Atlas half of my 27-inch screen. I get a very good ratio with it.
Oh, that's all right. I like it. I like it this way. I like it when it looks like that. But it's not as easy to demonstrate to people because I get to see a lot more this way. But
Yeah.
I am sitting short on Apple, by the way.
Ooh, nice, Peter.
Right now. It's not.
Did you get it at 286?
286.08. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
So,
there you go.
sorry, I'm not showing my trade here. Show trade orders. So there you go. So there's my trade up there. I'm not sure whether to cut it at break even because it keeps popping up through here, and it's a little uncertain as to what it's going to do. Like I'm thinking that I should not take too much of a risk, but I don't know. It's we'll see how aggressively it wants to drop.
That isn't too bad of a. I like that short. I'm gonna have to hop in the car in 8 minutes. So I'm not getting into any trades here as we
I
go.
understand.
Like,
that makes-
no, thank you.
I need more movement here on Apple.
Remember those painful things we've learned? I've learned that lesson.
Yeah, forcing a trade before you're about to jump out is usually bad. Apple's just been so strong here this morning that again, there might not be a big pullback. So I'm just going to let it stop me out if it comes back to my entry because I don't want to get caught in a sudden spike up to a new high of day, right? Like so, there you go. So like that, it just stopped me out, and it's okay. We'll see what it does. I thought I'd try it. I wasn't convinced it was going to be a long-term drop, but it may be. It may be. Yeah. See, look, now it's going to go on me. Oh well.
Of course.
It's okay.
Right.
Of course. Yeah.
Just get you just enough.
Well, that's the way it goes. Look at that. It came up. The high of day is exactly or the high of that candle was exactly 286.08.5, which is exactly what my entry was, to the half penny.
Rude. Did you have like
Yeah.
a million shares so they came and targeted you?
Yeah, it's I wish I was trading that type
No.
of size, but no. No.
Ooh,
All right, well.
look at that big bubble on Apple. Lots of selling volume there. 285.70, but it didn't drop. NVIDIA kind of hung out. Amazon made a new high. Got up to 236.50. Google's pushing pre-market high right now. Intel still grinding its way up.
Yeah, Intel looks like it hit a little bit of a high, and now it's pulling back from that. Yeah, this is Tesla really had a nice high there around 10:15, but let's put Tesla on the screen for you guys. Look at that sort of spike high, but it was tough. It was a tough reversal. It definitely got that volume.
Yeah.
Again, the volume was interesting, but I just wasn't confident enough that I'd want to take that short. But in hindsight, of course, looks great. That happens.
I had no level around there.
No,
Just an
neither did I.
arbitrary to or 436.80. Like anything, even on the daily, it's not even really a daily level.
Right.
Just nothing good. So yep, it's Ian. Yep, nothing worse than checking your phone at the stoplights, and then you get a ticket because you're on your phone when the cop pulls up next to you. Like, hey,
Don't be doing that. Don't put that phone away. That's why you need. If you don't have a holster for it, it drives me nuts when I'm behind somebody at a light and you know they're checking their phone because the light turns green and they just like show no reaction whatsoever. Like, you're not even looking. You're driving a motor vehicle. Pay attention.
yes, those are the things. All right, Peter, I am gonna drop off.
Yeah, you
because
go.
I gotta hop in the car, and I will join you for the close show, but I will be in a different location.
All right. Excellent.
Take care. Everybody on YouTube, take care. I'll see you here tomorrow because we clearly know that Carlos is having way too much fun in Thailand to want to be on the YouTube show, which is okay for him. So
I guess. So thanks, Mike, for being here. I appreciate it. Guys, we got a full... Thanks, Mike. We got a full program of activity here this morning, so we should have Thor coming in with us. He got a day off yesterday because I had to leave early, so that means we cut the show a little early. And apologies for all those that needed your Thor fix. Don't worry, you'll get it here this morning. He is ready to rock and roll, I'm sure. We just got to get him. He'll be joining here. Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's a Nathan. Maybe it's Nathan all morning. But one way or the other. Gotta see whose camera can I get in here. There.
Not sure if he's going to join me. You going to stay on with me, Peter? But,
there you are, Nathan. I'm getting pretty tired and hungry. I need some breakfast here. Been at it all morning, but we'll see what we do.
I want to hear more about your traffic problems.
Yeah.
The one thing about living up in the rural mountains is you don't get a whole lot of that. You don't get a whole lot of like traffic issues and problems, which is kind of nice.
That is good. So let's see. I've got you in here with an echo because I've got you twice. Just cut that. There you go. And
so how are you doing? You're
What screen
missing.
have I got you on?
You having FOMO from Thailand not being
Oh
there?
yeah, oh yeah. You better believe it.
Same.
It's tough when they're out there having fun. And like I said, it's the first time, both for Mike and I, first time we have not gone on one of these major trips with the whole team. So, and that's 8 years worth of fun and activity, and it's the first time that we're hanging back. So, had to happen eventually. This is the one. So we'll be there next time because it's no fun sitting back at the home office, as we've learned. Get you in here. Camera. There he is. Okay. Oh, did I lose Nathan? I lost him. Nathan's gone. He was here. Now he's gone. All right. Well, hopefully Nathan will be able to rejoin. At least he froze in a smiley face. Usually when I freeze, it's you're always got like the ugliest face going on. So yeah. All right. Give us a thumbs up, by the way. We appreciate it, guys. I know it's not Carlos, but helps people know that we're still going. I just had the one little trade on Apple. You guys saw that. I tried to get a reversal on it. Look, good thing that I did set my stop pretty aggressively at break even. Like I said, I wasn't convinced that it was going to drop all that far, and sure enough, Apple's still going. Look at that. New all-time highs. Did it quite? No. 2 cents away from the 287 level. My God, what a day. What a couple of days for Apple. Really, really moving well. NVIDIA here now pulling back. And, of course, Tesla was the one that I sort of, had a little bit of regret on missing out on. That would have been a good pullback from the high, but I just wasn't in a position and to be able to take that short. So no trade there. MVP, thank you for that. I appreciate it. That's very kind. And you sure? See, French VWAP, I can trust on you. I can rely on you to take the trade even if I don't. So I appreciate that. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, it's quiet day. I'm still trying to get used to managing all this. You can see me looking around because I've got this Stream Deck here. I can't even get it high enough to show you in the camera, but that I'm trying to manage with of course the control panel, and there's a lot. It's impressive. Carlos has got years of experience, but there's a lot to do, I gotta say, to keep this show running. So it just makes it a challenge. So hopefully Nathan's going to be able to rejoin, and I got to make sure that I'm not missing Thor out there. No Thor yet. Oh, there he is. He's back.
Pick it back. Yeah, internet just
tripped over a cable, did you?
probably. Who knows? They're doing a lot of construction out here in our neighborhood, so who knows?
All right. Well, glad you're
Don't have
back.
traffic problems, but we got a lot of construction and internet going on problems.
Right.
And for some reason, Xfinity loves to do updates to make our system faster during the middle of the day when everybody's working. That's kind of one of their favorite things to do.
Wow. Just to keep you annoyed, I guess.
Well, absolutely.
So, all right.
What
Let's see.
better way to get your day?
I gotta get your screen. Let's see. I can hang out with you. I got you here. And probably want your full screen, eh?
Have you seen the new updates to Atlas that just kind of came up the other night on Sunday night with the upper and lower cutoff percentage?
Yeah, we were just looking at that, how impactful that is. So
I've been playing around with it. I'm gonna try to get a video together and get it out when I can try to find a way to set it up, kind of get a consistent process to kind of set this up, because I really like that it starts to pull some of these larger orders back into that warmer part of the color scale to make them stand out, quite a bit more. So I'm gonna try to see if I can figure out a process to really start to make those stand out that'll work for any ticker.
Right.
This is looking pretty good for NQ.
All right. Let's
So
see
how
if I
are you
can get-
guys? How is everyone out there?
Everybody's doing well. I gotta find your
Nice.
screen here.
Grinding up here, like to this top of the day right now. Took off really at the start of the day with that NVDA taking off. Apple's taking off to the moon. Do you get any trades in today?
Just one little tiny one, frankly, on Apple. I was trying to get a reversal on Apple, and it was wasn't ready to reverse. Clearly, this thing is still like moving.
It is. I mean, it's
day,
up
so-
by S4 now.
Yeah.
Might be another good spot. Let's take a look at it. See how it's looking. It's still pretty strong. Yeah, that's a lot of volume. That's a pretty strong move. They're gonna need something to really come in and start to impact price. Be the spot you kind of expected. Need something to come in pretty aggressive right here. It's like a little bullish.
Okay.
596 on that upper cutoff seems to be a spot. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that book's still looking pretty bullish. Way up to is about 290. Man, Apple's gonna hit 300 before the end of the year. Like, holy cow!
Maybe.
I need to get there at least. We have a little bit here. Into a little bit of a pullback. What's that? It's monthly R4. So we got daily R4, monthly R4 right here. That's an area we would expect some sort of revision back into the range. Still
right.
just really strong. Really strong blow.
I've gone short again on Apple. You guys can see here on my trade, I got in just below 287. Hopefully we'll get a drop further. Took a little partial, stops at break even, so manage this trade. It might spike up. It's just been so strong this morning, but that looked like a topping pattern right there for me for sure. So
yeah, that was good volume on that test down. It didn't tick right back up, so it's still dropping. So that's picking up volume as we showed it down.
yeah. So I like the look of that. So we're sticking in that. Whoops, here's your screen back, Nathan. But sitting in this short.
That bid's dropping and not picking right back up and getting that absorption. So
Yeah.
what's your target? What's your target for this trade?
Well, my first target would be the 50 moving average, which is 285.70 right now. So that would be a nice move. 286 though is the whole dollar number that ideally I'd like to get to, and then ultimately if we can get down to VWAP, but that'd be a little aggressive. I'd probably try and add before we got down there, but we've got to see if is it really weak at the top. Apple has this tendency of it can pull back a little bit and then go off to the races again. So I'm not going to count my chickens here, which is why I'm fairly aggressively partialing.
Yeah, it's a fade. Yeah, playing that fade
Yeah.
back into that range into VWAP. I mean, VWAP's in a good spot to kind of retest and balance. So that would be
It is.
pull back
What's
this way.
What's interesting is that the whole dollar number, the 286, you guys can see I've got a big orange line here. This is the point of control, the volume point of control, and I tend to like gray everything out so you can barely see it, but this is basically where the most orders have traded hands on my chart when I zoom in like this. So that tells me that if it gets there, it's likely to bounce. So I'll definitely be taking a partial when we get there. I'm hoping for a bigger move, but I won't count on it.
You get
I
that
risk the
push
whole
through
trade.
that 285.75, and that starts to pick up volume and keep dropping like it is. I wouldn't see why VWAP at least wouldn't, that
Yep.
area,
Yep.
R3 VWAP wouldn't be on the table.
Exactly, especially being that that's so significantly above the previous day close. So we can go all the way back to VWAP and still keep a very green day on it. So, anyways, we'll see what happens. I'm in it now. Again, any spike higher, if it spikes over 287, it's going to take me out, and I'll just look for another entry opportunity. But let's hope it doesn't.
That was nice. It closed a new high minute low, or new 1 minute high with low volume, and then when that next candle opened, immediately dropped back down. There's that liquidity that got taken. It was just underneath. So it's just kind of dipping down, to try to find a buyer, and it's just not finding. That's looking good. Looking like a nice trade. Good spot.
Thank you. Well, let's hope it is. Yeah, I've learned that you never know on these trades, right? It can look like the best trade in the world, and before you know it, you're out, and you're like, what happened? And it just it'll just spike against you. So I don't let it phase me too much.
Basically every day.
Yeah, exactly, right? So
what just happened? Like, why did that happen? Like, what's going on there? But
yeah.
What's going on?
So I take it for
what has everybody out there been trading today? So be trying to look through the chat, and I want to go over the new feature that just kind of came out this week on Atlas with the upper and lower cutoff percentages with you guys. So let's see. I might be better off with Comcast out here. Well, that's who it is. It's Xfinity Comcast. That's really only our option. The other option we have living out here is they have a company that has towers, kind of like cell phone towers, that we would have to ping off of to try to get internet, and that's even worse. And then that kind of second or third option would be, of course, Starlink. So
you need those towers usually need line of sight, right? Which can be problematic.
Some areas Xfinity doesn't have any service to, just maybe a few miles over from us, so they have to do that. But luckily we do have Xfinity and can get that service. Still it's just kind of, why are you sending me a text now that you're doing work to help us with our internet service during the middle of the day?
Right.
Can't, like late at night, like that would be the time to do that. No trades. Nice. Jamie. Let's see.
Well, we're getting apples.
Amazon. Wow, what's Amazon
popping up here a little bit?
Rejecting right there off of R6, getting rejection. It does have some imbalance gaps, but I would still imagine it would still kind of break that low. Now we've even got an order on here that's being added and pulled lower on the book, so that may even start to pull price down with it. Maybe a little bit of manipulation going on here. Small red day. Omaha, no trades, just connecting. Nice. Well, it's good to have you here, Jamie. Let's see, up 1.2% today. Awesome, Raph. Great job. MD going red. Nathan for humorous. How do you explain when the order book is bullish or bearish, but a ticker doesn't go for those orders and just moves in the opposite direction like AMD did today? So this is something with some videos that are going to be released soon, where I'm talking about order flow and talking about the order book. And just seeing here on Apple, just seeing this bullish book doesn't mean you just go long. It, it's just, there's more to it. There's so much more context that you need when you're looking at the order book, when you're looking at order flow and how everything is happening. Here, Peter's trying to take this reversal, and this is a great spot for reversal. We're into the daily R4 and the monthly R4. Like this is an area we would expect to see selling. So in the context of an area you would expect to see selling and pushing up with a nice strong trend like that, there's that low right there in that displacement. Now we're picking up volume, getting ready to break that. Yeah, this is really good.
Yep, and I just took a partial right there, so that's excellent.
So, Peter can see this. Like, he can see that this is a bullish book. He can see this trend and running in here, but this is an area he was expecting to see selling and to take a short, and he has that process that he's going through to take that trade. And on a strong trend, on a strong move like this, if you're playing on a cam, for that reversal or just kind of that fade back into the range, into VWAP, you're going to be playing into a bullish book. So just because you see a bullish book doesn't mean you just go long. You need the other things, to match up with that, whatever your trading plan is. For me, would be going short right here. I would expect to see an algorithm, and I would expect to see heavy selling and expect to push back into the range just to scalp a nice trade like Peter's trying to do. This would be a great setup and kind of a trade that I would also look at. But we are in a bullish book, but we're in an area you're expecting to see selling. And you start to see that selling and you start to see that price action. So you take the trade regardless of what the book is looking like, because you're expecting sellers and an algorithm to come in here and start pushing against price and getting some sort of revision off that trend. Just getting into a trade and saying, oh, it's a bullish book, I'm just going to go long. That's not, that's just not a good plan. What else is going on with your setup? What else does your trade book say to take that trade? Like, seeing a bullish book and playing into a bullish book is just part of your trade. It's just part of your plan. It shouldn't be your whole plan. Putting everything else together and putting everything into context. If we start getting into this area, probably what Peter was seeing was that we're pushing into this area on heavy volume, and then we start to reject. And especially on these 1 minute lows, we're getting that extension and do this thing low, that displacement down, like very aggressively. That's so much different than what we were starting to see in some of these other areas, especially right into this area. Like this kind of price action and this kind of push down was just a lot different than what we were seeing before on those last high day breaks and that volume coming in. He had a process. He's got a trade book. There's specific things he looks for. Like, the book is just another part of that. If you're wanting to go long, Peter's looking to play a short back into here, expecting, he was talking about, I'm looking to go into this range. I'm looking to get into this swing high, because there's an area in here too where he's also expecting to find a buyer. He's noticing and identifying these areas where we bought up from before. And then he's identifying where VWAP is. Well, I'm targeting VWAP, and I'd really like to get down there because I know that's a great place that we're going to bounce off of. It can become like a magnet. If we can't find buyers and we can't dip down and start to jig down, and this bid just keeps dropping, and every time that ask starts to lift up, no buyers really come into the market, which is exactly what we're seeing here. Here's a nice engulfing candle, a push up, but on low volume. We're trying to raise. Sask is trying to raise up, and it's just really not getting that buying volume to get that momentum to run higher. Bullish book or not.
And there's levels I watch all the time and indicators, right? And everybody likes different indicators. I favor mine because I know that they relate well to my trade. So in this pullback, for example, I look at the 50 moving average. It's not one that a lot of people use for these things, but I know it's one that the people who I'm trading with or against, depending how you want to look at that, I guess, do use it a lot. So let me just try and configure this here on the screen. And
the 1 minute 15 moving average lines up usually very well with the 5-minute 9 EMA.
Right, because
So I'll just throw
because
that
that would
out
be
there
a
if you're looking,
right, because that would be a
for
45.
confluence and everything else.
Yeah, 45 period moving average versus the 50, right? So it's pretty close. But I'm just like, I don't here. Let me. I'm gonna try and bring up a new chart because I don't have the settings that I typically use. But let's see here.
We're even looking at here close to price action. Like,
but
we've got these orders coming up on the book, like still like close here to price, but we can't find any buyers to get them. So how are we going to get through into those orders if there's no buyers?
Here's the type of chart I normally look at. You guys can see I like a black chart, but the white shows better on YouTube. But look at this red line, right? See how the price sort of bounced or almost right off this moving average? We're still on it. Yeah, I see this all the time, right? So this is why I took a partial here, because I know we were getting to that moving average. We were right at that line, which I said that point of control, which is the orange line on here. So I get this confluence of indicators that I look at that I know has significance for my trading style and strategy. You could trade high of day breaks, and these things that I'm looking at, no relevance whatsoever, right? They just never come into play. So, but for what I do on the reversals, they're very significant. So this is why I put all this stuff in my chart. And like Nathan, like you said, right? When you ask me what levels, well, I'm looking at the chart and my indicators and say, well, here's the areas I expect to see price hesitation. It's probably going to hit that and get either support or resistance, depending whether we're long or short. And we'll see what happens. And then I can make some decisions, right? Do I get out of the trade? Do I add into the trade? Do I wait it out? So in this case, I took a partial, and we're going to wait and see. I want a bigger move, and then maybe there's a longer term downturn where I can add into the trade a little bit later. I wouldn't do it now because any add-in would bring my average price too close to the price action. We can see how we bounced back up here at 186.75. The price has every opportunity to go right back up to that level. So let's wait. I got to get lower, then we'll reevaluate depending on what happens. But as I said, it's a big combination of things you're looking at, right? The book, the chart, your indicators. This is what you've got to process.
Yeah, it's not just I see X, so I do Y. It's and you also don't hear Peter saying, "Oh, I'm taking this reversal and I'm expecting this to drop all the way through low a day."
Right.
No, he's saying, "I've seen this before. I know in this area I can find a buyer. So I'm going to take my partial there, and then I'm going to watch my trade. And then I've got my next kind of level. I'll take another partial there, and I'll start getting out of the trade." He's not like, "No, this is going to stop me out, or it's going to break through low a day and go to 200."
Right.
This, it's a context of everything else that's going on. Yes, he knows we're into a bullish book, but he's seeing selling, and now he's not seeing really any aggressive buying or buying at all that can lift price up to those orders. So how are we going to get to them and through them? And he's watching that and he's playing that. Like he has the context of his trade, and you need to have that too when you're looking at the book, when you're looking at your trade and adding these things in. You've got to put it together with other things. It's just not one thing and expect that to happen and happen consistently all the time. It's got to be a process.
Absolutely.
Probably running behind on the questions, but humorous. That's just kind of the way to look at it. If you're looking to short and you're playing cans and you're getting a pretty strong run, especially when you're starting to get into the fours, when you're breaking out through off the open, you're going to be playing into a bullish book if you're looking to take a short off here or 4, and really what you're expecting to trade is what Peter's doing is just what I would call a fade, versus a full reversal, which you would expect, a 4-hour trade, even getting into the low a day. You're just expecting to scalp into areas where there might be buyers. So you're just going to take a little bit off there. You're going to watch. You're going to take a little bit off there. And then if that trade really starts to dump and run and liquidate some of these buyers and get them trapped, then he's going to have a great trade, and he's going to make sure he keeps some of that, off to the side so he can maximize that move too. But it's coming in, to everything, putting everything together while also knowing it's a bullish book. I'm in an area where we bought before, so I'm going to look for buying. Am I seeing it? No. So I'm feeling pretty comfortable letting this just kind of run lower and just play my trade out. And when I start to see some buying and we start to push up and move towards those orders, I'll get out. And by then, I'm sure with the way we're going now, like he would have already done like pretty well on that trade. That you know, by then, you know, just cutting it there, he'd be pretty happy because it looks like we are going to get that test down in the VWAP for you, Peter.
Yeah, no, it's moving nice now. So, and that's you know, that's another thing you guys should know for when you know, if you've been here all morning with me, you know, I've been here since well before the open, and this is only the second trade I've taken, right? I had that one little stop out on Apple, you can see here a little bit earlier, and then I've got this trade. So, you know, you got to be patient. You got to know what you are looking for. And yes, there was lots of opportunity in the open that I didn't take advantage of, but I don't worry about it because I know my style. I know what I sort of, you know, can see very easily. This seemed like a no-brainer, right? And I can't guarantee it would have worked. It might have stopped me out. But I will take that trade 10 times out of 10 when I see it because it gives me this type of move and this type of opportunity. So, you know, my day is made. And, you know, when did I enter this trade? 11:05. So an hour and a half into the market.
Right when I got here, you're welcome. Yeah. So,
there you go. So thank you. Yeah, see, there you go.
You're welcome. But you know, humorous, you know, when you're looking at, you know, why did this short and why was it this area? It was a little higher off of R4, but you know, we get that break off of the open and we just kind of got stuffed here, like right off of R4. As soon as we started making those 1 minute lows, and then this weak retest back up, you know, this is exhaustion right here. We can see that from the VPA here. Immediate 1 minute low, we dump, and that volume starts to pick up. That's that Camarilla algorithm hitting right there. Like that's the start of the hit. Like this is something I look for when I'm looking for confirmation. That first 1 minute low, really that rejection down lower, and then this volume right here on this break back up off of R4. Who do you think this volume is from? This is from most likely retail traders getting trapped, thinking that's the next leg up to the top and not paying attention to the volume. And not paying attention for some of those larger players to come back into the market to push that price higher as we started to build that volume of the push. So we're starting to trap retail traders into here. And then on that 1 minute low, we start to liquidate them. Another test back up into here. Nice topping tail, the low, we start to liquidate. And then we just start to push. And then it's just the momentum to the downside. So, you know, really, this low and pushing into that, you know, bullish book, if that's what you were seeing, this was just that CAM algorithm activating and just really starting to take over price action aggressively. And this is what they do. This is why I trade these algorithms, why I look for these setups, because when they start to happen, they become pretty aggressive and they really stick out in the chart. I can just tell just from looking at the chart here that algorithm really started to become aggressive, especially after this low right here. It would not let price go any higher and then just started liquidating everybody on the way down. A little bit of a bump here, but still some exhaustion on that buying here. Probably some profit taking. We pop back up and we hit VWAP. That algorithm came back in and then liquidated everybody one more time. So this was probably some retail traders getting back in this trade, looking for that break over the high day, and that algorithm just comes back in and just liquidates everybody. And now it's really pushing down. And higher range, wide day. This is where we would look for a buyer. So let's take a look at the book too.
I just took another partial on Apple since I see some hesitation here on the price. 285.50 seems to be a little bit of a short-term anyway support area. So
you're getting close to VWAP now.
Yeah, we're getting close, but 50 cents, 50, 60 cents away right now. So it's yeah, we'll see if we get there. I mean, already, you know, I'm sitting very nice on this trade. It's looking great for me. I wouldn't mind if we, I mean, obviously hit VWAP, go a little bit lower, and then I can, if we test VWAP from the bottom, I could add into my trade and see if I can really make this a big profitable one. But for now, I'm just going to milk it. If we get to VWAP, there'll be another partial there. And
that market's helping you too.
And that's
ES is going to be huge for, if you're wanting to trade Apple, ES is the one to watch, and that thing ticked right into R4 and made a new 1 minute low, and just like we saw in AMD, started everybody running down into S3, where I would expect to find maybe some buying there, but that's still plenty of room for that Apple trade to make you some more money.
Stephen Ma, interesting question. To change topics altogether, we're getting towards the end of the year. Any advice for Canadian traders preparing documents for Canadian accountants? Well, first off, depending if you're trading live, I assume you've got a broker like I use Interactive Brokers, and they give me a full set of reports. I don't have to do a lot of prep because they produce year-end reports. They give me this 800-page summary of everything I've traded over the course of the year. That, in fact, just gets automatically loaded into CRA. So, I just call it up back off the CRA site, load it into my software, and off it goes. So I haven't used an actual accountant in a while because day trading, I keep it fairly simple. I just pay the highest possible tax rate, and that way I know I'll never be audited. So that's my theory, anyways. I just don't want the hassle. So, but any event, the best advice I can give you is make sure that you've got. Make sure that you've got all your documents. Again, hopefully your broker should be providing them to you, so that you can just fill out the forms pretty easily and then be able to pay whatever taxes you need. Or I guess if it hasn't been a great year, then you get your big tax credit, right? So one or the other, because it's going to be individual, especially in Canada. I'll tell you that the Canadian CRA, the Canadian Revenue Agency, does not know how to treat day trading because they're not quite sure if it's an investing activity or an employment activity. So there, your situation could be radically different than mine. It depends on whether it's your primary source of income, whether you make more money at that than other things, what other activities you have to make money out there. Like, there's all sorts of considerations, right? What percentage of your portfolio are you using to make your day trading? Like, it's complex, which means, unfortunately, it's discretionary as to how they evaluate it. So I've learned that the hard way and from a lot of lessons. So it's not in the US. There's a much more structured approach to it. Here in Canada, they honestly have no freaking clue how to manage day trading, because really the tax code was set up to say you invest and you work, do one of the two, right? Or do both. But they know how to handle investments, they know how to handle work, they don't know how to handle investing as a job, right? Or trading as a job. Like, it just doesn't exist in the tax code. So anyways, so I will not provide you any specific advice. I will say I am not a tax accountant. Consult a professional. So
email Brian at bearbulltraders.com for all your tax advice questions. He would appreciate that.
Yeah. Oh, here we go. So we're coming down now. We're hitting the VWAP. I'm going to take another partial here because we're right at the whole dollar number as well. So there you go. Look at that. I've got another partial right at the VWAP. You can see here on my chart. So it's looking awesome. Still have enough shares that I can hang out. And if we do get a push lower, now it's going to be a longer sit and wait for me, to be honest, because
it's a beautiful entry.
Yeah, I mean, I've got tons of room between my entry and the current price, right? And I said this is the type of trade I wait for, and I may only get a few of them a week, but you only need a few a week, because I got into this. If you look at it, I got into this with my stop was at high of day, so I had a 40-cent risk, and right now I'm $2 into it, so that's a 5-to-1 risk to reward. Obviously, I'm not achieving 5-to-1 yet because I've taken partials along the way. But every partial I get from this point on is actually more valuable than any other because we've got such a big range. So
and now it's the easy part. Like now it's the fun part, just watching it. And
now it's just management.
The volume picking up and it just starts liquidating. You're like, I was happy to get to the VWAP, so this is great.
Yep.
if you're looking to add, you get a little bit of pullback, it's still selling. You know, like you said, you may look to add back into that, and you've got that risk you can put back.
Sometimes these trades, if you can add, I haven't always had a lot of success in the adding, but if you do it well, these can become monsters, right? Because they're just such big moves. But, you know, it is Apple, which I expect Apple to bounce here off the VWAP and probably move higher over the next 20 minutes or so.
5-minute and 15-minute fair value gaps when they match up. So you get the gap on the candles on the 5 and 15-minute. When you have those are my favorite places to add into a trade. And I know you like that 50 50 moving average. Like if that's in one of those gaps and you start to get that bounce off, that's a great spot just to add and get back into there. So NYM is calling. It's kind of just back in bottom three. But, you know, and humorous, you were talking about AMD. So I got AMD up here. I got Atlas up. And I think this is probably what you were seeing to, you know, the top side when it was looking to kind of make that breakout over the top of R4, where we have a pretty bearish book, really strong downtrend, markets moving down, and we're into S3. So like you would look into that, we're under S3, like we would have been over the top of R4. But the price action is really different now than what it was when we were over the top of R4, and we would have had that bullish book then. When we're getting these 1-minute highs, it's not the same reaction and push and volume like it was when we were getting those 1-minute lows. So pushing into here, like seeing the bearish book, you're going to want something and someone to come into the market and make themselves known that they are here and ready and willing to buy and buy aggressively. Now, Peter was looking at Apple. Somebody was coming to the market and ready to sell, and they were selling aggressively, and he went with that trade. Here, we're not getting that aggressive buying because on these 1-minute highs, as we start to push into here, we should start to get some displacement and real like movement up, like forceful momentum up over this high, nice big candle, and that volume will start to rise as that candle starts to push and push and push and break over this high. That volume should extend with it. This volume is starting to come in, and we're rejecting 1-minute highs. So we had this liquidity here, lower, and playing against that, you need more force. Like you need someone to come in and take this ask and this spread and lift it up like the elevator. Like the elevator is just going straight up. You know, this needs to be more aggressive. This doesn't need to drop down. This doesn't need to get absorbed. And over this swing high right here, that needs to extend, and that volume really needs to come in and push. That lets you know through the volume in the VPA that there's a buyer here. And then we need to start to watch price action in this area to make sure that buyer wants to buy more. Like, are they willing to buy more in this area? And that's why those retests back into here are so important. You need that confirmation. So here on this 1-minute high, that volume should come in and we should extend. Like this spread should lift aggressively. There's the break on the high, it got rejected. So that buying right into there got absorbed, and that seller immediately came back in and rejected price. This isn't aggressive buying to me. This is a seller still waiting here over the top of price action, and we need to get them out. We need to get these sellers trapped. We need to get them out of the trade. We need to do that by the displacement and that force and that momentum up. There's a new high again. We're pushing, but we're not really extending, and that volume is just like not really coming in aggressively. It's not convincing me at all, at least there. Okay, that's a little bit better. That's a little bit better of a push, but that volume isn't, the volume's really not coming with it. We're halfway through this candle, and that volume should be at least around what this volume is and still extending on that. And it's not. Like, this just really isn't convincing me that there are aggressive buyers. We need more price action. We need to get back down in here and start making, you know, some new 1-minute highs and see if that volume comes in. But right now, this is just getting absorbed and rejected, and that's wheat sauce right there.
Wow.
That high,
Tesla-
even though we close on new high, that's weak sauce. That's a no-go.
weak sauce.
Now looking at this bearish book, like that I would say yuck. That's definitely not a necessarily long thing. It's starting to play out.
Boy, Tesla would have been such a great short. Oh well. Hindsight, eh?
Tesla, man, it's so bipolar. I just can't. I can't trade Tesla. It's just way too bipolar for me. It's just. It reminds me of some of the girls I used to date when I was younger. Just kind of crazy all over. They're fun. They're fun when they're fun, but when they're not fun, it's just,
The old hot crazy matrix.
yeah. I went for those. I was a sucker for those. Like still like breaking highs here, but where's the volume? Like we're lifting and pushing up, but to me, I feel like we're just trapping buyers. We got some probably retail traders getting in here because that volume stinks. That volume on these kind of candles and that push up should be more over to here, maybe even to here, to really convince you. Because humor's like you're talking about, it's a bearish book, so we should go lower. Yep, if we don't have any buying, and as we start to break these lows and extend, and that volume starts to down, absolutely, that's where we would look to go. Because we're not getting any volume. But guess what? If we start to push up and we're reading this diverting volume coming in and we're starting to trap some buyers coming in here, where are their stops going to be? Right here. So when we start to extend and push down low, we trigger those stops. Guess what happens? Those become market sell orders immediately, and the volume picks up again and the extension comes down again. That's what you'd be looking to play off the short, because we're really not buying in this. So, you'd kind of be looking for that revision back kind of, maybe into this gap or something, while that volume's continuing to decrease, and looking on those 1 minute lows, the volume's coming in, that extension is pushing down like you're seeing here. Like you're seeing here on these lows, like you're seeing here, that volume's coming in, and then this weak sauce buying is coming in, just trapping buyers. Their stops are here. So that's where you're targeting. They're going to take that short once you get into a good range, get a nice RVR, and get these buyers trapped, and you're going to play them stopping out here and a push down into S4. That's kind of be the target, because to me this feels like a trap. Just kind of lifting and not really extending and pushing, especially with that volume coming in. It looks more like a trap rather than that algorithm coming in. If this algorithm was coming in, this extension and this push would be a lot more aggressive, and that volume would be start to come in aggressively. So AA, what do the bubbles on Atlas indicate? So the bubbles on Atlas are the aggressive participants in the market. This is who moves the market. So it'll let me scroll and zoom in. You have two participants that you really need to pay attention to, and Atlas shows them better than anything. Your first is going to be your passive participants. These are going to be your order book, your limit orders. Patiently waiting. These guys are just patiently waiting for their orders to be filled. They just have their limit orders in here, and they're just waiting for price action to get down, for them to get filled. And on the other hand, in order to move through these orders, kind of like we were talking about on Apple when we were looking at that bullish book, but we started just revision down, and anytime we started to lift back up a little bit, like no volume came in, and we couldn't continue lifting because we didn't have those aggressive participants, which are these volume dots, which are the market orders on these limit orders. These are the trades. These are what go through your time and sales. That's what these dots are. So your green dots are going to be your buy trades, and your red dots are going to be your sell trades. And you could start to see like who's coming in control, as we start to drop down, and getting a lot of big red dots that are just slamming and hitting that bid pretty hard. And right here on this low, this is really what I would be expecting this bid to drop, the volume to start to pick up right there. That is kind of exactly what I would expect to see on that 1 minute low. I would almost like to see it just be even more aggressively and start to push down, because that's our first 1 minute low. But man, that seller came in really aggressively on that order, on that limit order, and sold hard. And we can see it. We could see that order was taken, that liquidity was taken. It was a big sell order. That ask lifted up just a little bit, and as soon as it started to drop, sales came back in. And now it's really struggling to lift back up. Now we're starting to extend to the downside. This is kind of what I was talking about, with this revision up and that weak sauce volume. But no, we're not getting the best volume, down either. But it's really struggling to lift. And this taking on this liquidity here, I kind of expect a line to be drawn right here for sellers. I expect sellers to make it really hard for buyers to push back up into this area, especially with that sell there. Be looking for that bid to continue to drop and those sellers to sell more as you start to offer back down into them, because you're struggling up and you're just not finding the buyer. I mean, look at that. That's crap. That's not what we want to see if we're wanting to go long off S3. No, thank you. Just stay away from that. This, like I said, this looked like a trap to me, and now it's looking even more like a trap. So there it closes, no volume, and immediately offers lower. When this bid drops here, I would expect to see that extension and those red dots to hit that bid, those sell orders, to let you know those sellers are taking that offer and they're dropping it lower. Now, when we drop lower, do more sellers come in? That's what we're starting to see here. Now we're dropping, now we're extending, and really just starting to push down. We've got these buyers trapped. That's
in the chat room. You're asking about. You're asking about NVIDIA. The semiconductors are moving as a block, it looks like to me. The chart on AMD looks very similar to the chart on NVIDIA. Intel seems to be one of the things that's moving a little independently. I think that the big move feels like it's over for the time being. They also, by the way, both happen to look a lot like the market overall. So...
everything's really following
together,
really moving together at the moment.
Yep. So
a little bit of pop on the market there, just a few minutes ago, but I feel like that's a little bit more profit taking than an actual buyer thing. I feel like we need to test that a little bit lower to see if we start to get a buyer down there.
Right. Yeah, and it depends what it's going to mean. Apple's been fairly strong today, so Apple popped a little bit more here. Now we're heading back to 286. And like I said,
that's right where you're expecting it to pop too, right off VWAP.
Yep. So this is the long part of my trade where I've got to sit in it for a long time, because either we're going to go all the way back up and retest the high of day, which will take me out of this trade, or we're going to find we're not going to find any buyers in here to move this thing higher, and we may just sort of mess around for a little while before dropping through to the close, which I can hope for. That doesn't always happen, but that's where I keep my residual shares for, because if that happens, I said that can be a huge move for me, especially if I can add into it and take advantage of it. But
do you like to keep some of those shares if you can to play into that 1 to 10?
No, because the 1 to 10 is a whole totally different setup. I mean, if I'm still in the trade, then I'll take advantage of it if it plays in my favor, but I don't purposely hold it for that.
And humor is still, we're looking at kind of what you were expecting to see on AMD to the top side. We're actually kind of seeing that to the downside, and it's putting it in with that context of, it's an area I expect to see a buyer, but I'm not seeing buying. I mean, I'm not really seeing aggressive buying to push off. So absolutely, this liquidity is very attractive on the book. Not a lot of liquidity building higher, not a lot of buying coming in, really struggling to lift here. That's a nice engulfing candle, but still the volume's not coming in. Trying to lift a little bit higher, not getting the volume. So in this case, not having that aggressive buying and really pushing up, you would expect this liquidity to be taken. You would expect this liquidity down here to kind of be that next area to find a buyer, because you have that buy liquidity, and then looking for that kind of to set up again as you start to get there. But, in this case, it's playing out more like you would have expected it to the top side. But when we were up to the top side and coming down, we had a very aggressive seller in an algorithm that was just liquidating. It just new 1 minute lows. It was just being aggressive and just dropping the price aggressively, and pushing down. We don't have anything really pushing price up here to give us an indication that there might be a strong buyer. So absolutely, this is where we're looking to at least test and to get down into this area. It's just too close. We're too close down here not to at least try to get in and fill some of these orders. But it's moving in the opposite way of large orders. It's it's just in the context of what are you seeing, and what are you expecting to see in that area. And I I like to tell traders it's I don't know if any of you have ever taken CPR classes, but one of the first things they teach you is you make sure the area is clear. You're going into an area, you're going in to look for a trade. Like, check that area out. Like, look on higher time frames. Don't just stick to the 5 minute and 1 minute chart. Just looking at Atlas, you're gonna be trading with your blinders on. Like, zoom out. Like, zoom out to the larger time frames. Like, where are you? Like, are you trying to play into an area where we've had a big sell-off on 4 hour or a daily chart? Might not be the best area to try to go long. So just be aware. Like, be aware of where you are. Be aware of what's going on when you're trading, and just taking everything into account and everything you can just to get the the best RVR and the best trade that you can get. Information and kind of just making sure everything's correct for your setup is just one of the best way to go with it.
I gotta say, Nathan,
now
that's
we're
the
dropping, we're still extending. So
first time I've ever heard trading compared to CPR, so I like it.
My other analogy is like driving in your car and looking in your mirrors. So looking left on your charts, like looking in your rear view mirror.
Yeah.
And then, looking all the way back, on those higher time frames. And then I like to look at, Atlas and the order book for the ask is like looking in your left-hand mirror, and then the bid, looking in your right-hand mirror, and checking where you are, and seeing where you're going, where you're expecting to going, but also checking kind of your surroundings and everything that's going on there. But you're welcome again, Peter.
Thanks.
I got you your trade, and then I gave you a good.
Yeah, no, it's going well. I'm glad I stuck around. I was thinking I was going to go get some breakfast, but instead,
I'm glad you stuck around too.
Yeah,
I'm glad you got a
well
good trade.
Yeah, it's nice.
See, Alpha BBT, I'm joining after a long time. You used to use Bookmap, now you have switched to Atlas. Are Bookmap folks okay with you promoting Atlas? Yeah, I mean, they don't care. I don't have any affiliation with Bookmap. I was just using Bookmap because I struggled to use a level 2 and a chart and time and sales. I just couldn't really track the orders and everything that was going on, and I love to have the historical data. I geek out about this stuff. I will sit here and watch price action all day, just not even looking for a trade, but just watching how things react. On new 1 minute highs and new 1 minute lows, and reading the VPA, and just how we're offering, to each side, like who's accepting the offer. If buyers are accepting the offer, that volume's going to come in and they're going to push price higher. But sellers, we're going to drop lower. And so I do. I like watching this, and the movement of the level 2 was just too fast for me to track and kind of build that book in my head. A lot of people can do that. And so, do you need Atlas to trade? No. A lot of people can see the level 2, they understand it, and they can build that book in their head and, benefit from that. For me, I just struggled to do that. So having the visual price action and order flow, being able to zoom in and really look at it was just huge for me. I mean, it literally just changed my trading. As soon as I started using it, I loved it, and I really started to get into it. And Bookmap, they have their videos on just like quick things on liquidity and quick things on absorption that you'll see. I want to bring you things that are much more in depth. I want to bring you things that I've learned and that I've studied and that I've seen over and over, and I want it to make sense to you. I don't want it to just be a 5 minute voiceover video. Like, I try to record my trades. I try to sit here live with you guys and read live price action, because that way we can all learn. We can all look at it together. We can all read live price action. And, you know, book map and the education, you get some of that, but you're not going to get like the detail and exactly what's going on and exactly what's going on with the auction, and really had to read this and make sense of it. You know, kind of what I was talking to Humorous, like bringing in all the context. It's just not all about liquidity. It's just not all about going long here, going short here, just because there's orders down here. It's building that thesis, it's building that trade book, and that's what I want to help you guys do, because Atlas is going to give you a huge edge in the market, but you just have to know how to use it. It's not the only thing that you're going to have for trading. You're not just going to have Atlas up and just use it just by going off how the book looks. You're going to have your setups, and you're going to have confirmations, and you know, you're going to take those trades and know when to put that risk on. And Atlas is just going to help with it. And it's just going to help you really read price action, really read order flow, and just understand a little bit more of what's going on so you can make decisions like a lot faster. So do we have to learn to use them both Atlas and level 2, and it is powerful? I mean, yeah, I mean, even kind of one of the first things I started doing when I was really getting into bookmap, and like the one thing that took me years to do was I was really into Andrew's trading, how he trade, Paris. I was really into, you know, how he manages and recycling shares in his trades, but I didn't have anyone, and bookmap didn't have any education to help me relate those things to what I was seeing in the visual price action order flow. And it took me years to start to understand exactly what I was seeing and exactly what I was going on, like everyone else does. And I want to cut that time down for that. I don't want it to take years for you guys. I want it to take, you know, months. You know, it is going to take time to start to get used to this and read it, where it doesn't become so overwhelming. But you know, you can do it. And it's just going to help you just make decisions so much easier, so much faster, because you're going to see in real time exactly what's happening directly before those trades go through and right after. And also keeping an eye on that spread, because this is where all the action happens. This is our value. This is where both these passive and aggressive participants meet. It's where they do business. So it's important with what's going on in this offer, who's accepting that offer, who's taking it. Now we're starting to get on AMD. Now we're starting to get some bullish price action. Now that volume is coming up on those highs. We're really starting to lift. We are struggling a little bit, but this is kind of the first sign that there may be some actual buying now coming in here. That looks like the market is lifting up a little bit too. So, but you know, that's really kind of our first signal. And if you're looking for this long and kind of evaluate this trade, that's actually kind of the first time I've seen, you know, really any significant buying. That's a lot different than what we were seeing. You know, now it's going to be important on these 1 minute lows. Do we struggle back down? Or when we offer to those sellers, does this bid continue to drop? We start seeing a lot of red dots and we start picking up volume. You know, now we're watching that kind of on the other side, just really trying to be objective. Nice, guys. This is a fun day. I already had all my trading done last night, so.
Last night?
Yeah, that's what's nice about futures. You get your trades in the evening, and then, but I stayed up late. I was trying to get some videos and some things done, and I didn't get much sleep last night, so I'm probably gonna need to take a nap now. I'd like to go ski, but we don't have any snow.
What? You don't have any snow? I thought you were the first to get snow out there.
Good thing, man. We're barren up here. It's kind of scary just how little snow we've had lately. Usually our yard, you can't see our yard. It's buried in like 6 feet of snow, and there's like a little bit of a dust in that thing.
Huh.
I'm like Will Ferrell and Elfite. I love the snow.
Keep saying my daughter-in-law from Scotland loves the snow, but I said she sees it from like a play point of view rather than the shoveling point of view. So she's
we hire somebody like to clear out the driveway. They bring in like these big trucks, and it takes them like 30 seconds.
Yeah,
I get the snowblower out there. It takes me like 2 hours. I'm like, they are more than worth hiring
I do the same. I admit I do the same thing for the driveway because my wife, used to hire a service when I was traveling all the time because I wasn't here to shovel, and she's a tiny little woman, so she, it'd make extra tough for her. And neighbors would feel bad for her, right? Because they come and and we live on a corner, so the corner of the street when the plow comes by, it's the first opening, so all of the snow ends. Literally, the snowbank would be taller than she was trying to shovel that thing at the end.
We get probably like a 10-foot pile of snow up to the top.
Yeah. So
it starts to get crazy.
So for that alone, I just got a service, and then when I came back, I'm like, what the heck? Why do I want to shovel? Like you said, Nathan, it's worth the money, right? Because they're done in no time at all. They bring their heavy equipment, they get it all done. I'm like, you know what? That's what I'm paying for. Just the convenience.
Just watch them do. You're like, why am I wasting so much energy? But we do shovel off the decks, and a couple of years ago, I found this electric snow shovel. It's almost like a snow blower. It's just like a small shovel, and it's kind of got the wheel in it.
Sort of the brushes.
It used to take us like 30 minutes to clean off the deck. It takes like 5 now. Like that thing, I love it. Like I love that thing. It was like, oh my gosh, like I can't live without this thing now. It's just amazing. You just go through like you're done. I'm like, oh man, awesome.
Yeah, it's all good. All right, guys, whatever you're doing out there, hopefully you're trading well. Pawn, you're asking in the chat room, what's the white line going across the bottom volume bar? I think what you're looking at is the average volume. It's the gray line. That's what I've got on my chart. I think Nathan, we're looking at Nathan's chart right now on the screen.
I think it's a 20. Yeah, I think I got a 20.
Yeah,
20 average.
That's about what I do too, because you just want to see, is it above or below that average, right? And that's what I use it for. It's good on a daily chart because then it sort of tells you what's the average daily volume, how are we trending against it. So especially pre-market, I find it very useful, but it's good on any time frame. But yeah, just average volume.
Quick glance, just have that quick glance of, okay, what's our average been over there? Oh yeah, I'm starting to really pull down in that volume. I'm not quite hitting that average, so.
Yeah. And yes, I use a 20 period, and Nathan said he did the same. So we just happen to use the same measure. All right, so with that, look, we're at time, guys. We're going to call it a day. Have a great one out there. We really appreciate you spending your time with us. And with Carlos off, it's a lot of fun here. It keeps me very busy. So I'm very happy I got this trade in. I got to say, it's very, very happy with that. So thank you, Nathan, for helping me with that one.
Well, yeah, thanks for keeping me company and going through that trade. It was nice to kind of explaining what I was seeing on what you were going through and explain to everybody that context and having all that when you're setting up your trade and put the risk on it. You see it, go for it.
We'll see how much longer I can hold because I'm still in it. So hopefully this will take me to the close. So with that, take care. Have a great day, everyone. Go get a nap, Nathan.
All right. See you guys. Have a good one.